Hola, y bienvenidos a Amores Patos. Hi, welcome to Amores Patos. I'm your host, Anna.
And I'm your other host, Faby. This is a podcast where two best friends get together and talk about
Duck facts,
duck lore,
duck wrestling, and DuckTales. Alright, Faby,
Yes.
I have one crucial question to ask of you.
What's up?
Are you ready to rumble?
You know it.
This is Season 3, Episode 7, The Rumble for Ragnarök. Alright, our story is by Frank Angonis, Madison Bateman, Colleen Evanson, Christian Magelhays, Ben Simeon, and Bob Snow. It was written by Bob Snow. The storyboards are by Vince Zappato, Kristen Gish, and Victoria Harris, and it was directed by Tanner Johnson. And for our watches, we have The Plane Flying, Never Stayed Inside of a Hotel, Playboy, We All Know and Love, Benzino, The Very Italian, Gasolini.
Wait, you got a nice little place here. Only hotel, I'm never staying inside.
I love it.
Watch. Who is not here?
No.
He's not in Valhalla.
Imagine. Kind of tragic, honestly.
I love it, yeah, because that means he's dead. I actually feel kind of bad now for not giving Matilda McDuck a fun name. But... well, Matilda McDuck has a more likely chance of actually being completed, so she doesn't get a fun name.
Okay. Excuses.
I know. And now it is time for the game show within our podcast. It is now time for Duck or False. Duck or False. There is an episode of DuckTales 1987 where Launchpad has a secret underground wrestling career in which he is known as the Crashing Menace.
False.
Damn it!
I would be obsessed with that episode if it was real.
Damn. I could have just kept it secret from you. It was a really shitty episode.
Oh my god.
Launchpad does have a hero persona, which I'm going to look up the name real quick because I forgot what it was.
I know.
Oh, it's a stupid-ass fucking name. Okay.
Oh, okay.
There is a DuckTales episode in which Launchpad has a not quite secret superhero persona titled or called the Webbed Wonder.
I hate it.
That's shit. The episode is Hero for Hire. That's season 1, episode 19, in which the Beagle Boys trick him into thinking he's playing a superhero when they're actually having him rob banks for them.
Okay.
I
don't think that's one I've watched multiple times.
No, it's not very good. Doofus is in it, so that's enough of a detractor.
Let's not open up those memories again.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I should say something, because I'm the...
Yeah, this is your episode. Like, we made this specifically for you, this episode.
It's funny. I guess I'll open up with, like, not a speech that I prepared, but...
A speech that you've prepared.
But a speech that I prepared. So, me, Faby, I'm the wrestling expert here, even though I'm not, like...
You are, God.
I have a lot of, like, really fond memories of it. Like, so, started watching wrestling about, like, 2006, probably to around 2009.
An era ago.
Yeah, an era ago. I was, like, 3rd or, like, 5th grade. And I watched it with my brother, my younger brother, Octavio, who's, I guess, co-researcher for this episode. And it was just one of those things, like, at that point, like, we were both still pretty young. He's 2 years younger than me. So, like, I don't know, like, I guess I will say, like, I remember growing up, people would always say to us, like, oh, you know wrestling is fake, right? Like, that's the thing that people want to, like, get you with.
Yeah, it's like this idea that, like, wrestling is, like, uncultured, and they want to, like, rub in your face. They're like, ha, you like that shit? It's, you know, it's fake.
Yeah. And, like, I remember hearing that from, like, so many, like grown-ups in our family. And it's like, first of all, maybe my brother didn't know that it was fake.
Yeah, and it's like,
you know,
why are you saying this to a child?
Why are you saying this for a child? But also, like, to me, like, as I've grown up, I've gotten kind of, like, the vocabulary to say that, like, I absolutely loathe when people say that wrestling is fake.
Yeah.
Because it's... Fake to me implies that, like, there isn't, like, a value in it.
Yeah, or,
and to me, like,
or that there's no effort, like,
Yeah.
being put in, like, genuine effort or care.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like, wrestling, yeah, it's, I mean, like, spoilers, I guess. It's predetermined, you know? And oftentimes there are, like, it has a script, you know? But also there's a lot of improv in wrestling. Mm-hmm. Like, these wrestlers... to me, are like stuntmen who also have to act.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
Who also have to improv.
Like theater with, like, wax stunts.
Chairs.
Yeah, with people getting hit with chairs. It's theater, but they get hit with chairs.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so to me, like, yeah, I know that it's fake, but, like, that just elevates it to me, you know? Like, I love the drama of it. I love, like, both the super emotional, like... these two wrestlers were friends and, like, they turned against each other and now they're, like, having to compete in this big match event. But I also love, like, the stupid stuff. I love it all. I love the campiness of the outfits. I love just, like, the crowd. Like, something that to me, like, I'm a very, like, emotional person. You guys probably know that. Like, I love watching... I've never been to a live show. Like... That's one of the things that I really want to do, especially now that, like, I stopped watching wrestling for maybe 10 years.
Oh, woof.
Yeah, like, for a while. I think it was just life got in the way, things happened, and then, like, I think, like, a year ago, I discovered that my brother was still secretly a wrestling fan. And I was like, okay, you need to tell me about certain things, because, like, there's certain wrestlers I'm going to talk about throughout this episode that, like, have always stuck with me. We're going to talk about The Undertaker. Batista, he's now an actor. I love him. Like, he's
rad.
And it's just one of those things, like, literally this episode, back in May when it aired in May, right?
May.
April.
I don't know, actually.
Either late April or early May.
Yes.
But it literally, like, reignited my passion for wrestling. And I think it's something that I've always wanted to get into. But, like, the circumstances of, like, being home, having the time, like... Back when I first watched this episode, I was going to talk a lot about... I mean, I'm still going to talk about WWE, which is the World Wrestling Entertainment. But I don't really watch that wrestling show anymore.
Because WWE, because there's, like, competing wrestling organizations...
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's different, like, factions, companies. There's New Japan Pro Wrestling in Japan. There's the famous AAA in Mexico. Mm-hmm. You know, there's different organizations. There's what we call the independents, which are more, like, kind of like free shows, you know. It's, like, bigger corporation wrestling, I guess you would say. So I started watching the AEW, which is All Elite Wrestling. And they had this pay-per-view. And... it was this match called the Stadium Stampede. And it was just buck wild. Like, because of, COVID and situations, there was no audiences allowed. So what they did is that they did a 5-man tag, so 5 against 5, inside the stadium. And they just went crazy.
But
we had...
Because they were running around the entire stadium, right?
Around the entire stadium, yeah. There was a horse... Hangman Adam Page was one of my favorites. My brother will disagree with me. He came in with a horse.
What?
We had not an attempted drowning, but there was fun stuff happening by a pool. We had someone got suplexed across a football field. So, the whole way, he just kept redoing it and, flipping over and redoing it. And it was just, fun. I had such a fun time watching it. Also, they have a really good women's division, that really got to me. Because at the time that I was watching wrestling, women were still kind of, just kind of models.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's the wrestling I knew before, from my, just cultural knowledge of wrestling. They're the ladies walking around in the bikinis with the sign. Is that a thing, or is that boxing?
Yeah.
Is that wrestling?
That's boxing.
Dang, I don't know. I know the current lady wrestlers are hot.
Yes, I mean, of course they are.
Yeah.
I think the first match I ever watched was Nyla Rose, a native trans woman against Hikaru Shida, a Japanese woman. And, I didn't know who to cheer for. I wanted them both. I was so excited. And, next up this, Saturday, there's a new, pay-per-view event. And I'm just, it's exciting. And I get, it's not for everyone. Some people really just don't like violence. Mm-hmm. If you don't like violence, it's not a thing.
Yeah.
Some people really hated the Stadium Stampede. There's, this belief that, wrestling should be very technical, that there's no need for, fun match. And I say, fuck that. I love just, I don't know, we're already watching, this performance.
Yeah, I mean,
you might as well embrace it.
Yeah, I mean, these things have to, evolve. How, the women's wrestling became an actual thing. How it... You'll see, listeners, my very bare bones knowledge of wrestling that I mostly acquired today. Faby sent me a cheat sheet, Wrestling 101. So I've gained a lot of knowledge very quickly today. So we'll see me put it to the test. But yeah, I mean, just the evolution of wrestling, how it had to evolve with the viewers and with time. Mm-hmm. How women wrestlers became just as defined, just as dramatic, and as developed as male wrestlers.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. To see also it's a new company, so it still has a lot of up and coming to it. It only got established a little bit over a year ago.
Oh wow! So yeah.
I don't know, I don't know where I was going with this, but the point is, I don't know, wrestling is something special to me. I think as a kid, it was one of those I don't want to be other girls kind of thing, But I was a kid that would decorate my folder, my binder with pictures. I would make collages of these wrestlers.
Oh, that's rad as hell! God!
My childhood favorites were Batista.
Yeah.
Dave Bautista.
I would just
Mysterio.
fucking print out Avatar fan art, Avatar: The Last Airbender, not the blue ones, and stick that in my binder.
I love the Hardy Boys, Jeff and Matt Hardy. I loved DX, which is made up of Triple H and Shawn Michaels. They're the bad boys of wrestling.
Yeah.
Just people like that. John Cena was also there. He was alright.
He was there. I think John Cena, my knowledge, my wrestling knowledge, it's John Cena, The Rock, Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
And until today, that was the extent of my wrestler's knowledge.
Yeah, it's so doing research for this was a nostalgia trip, but also complicated because it's had to choose which lines I want to talk about or things I have to bring up. Like, there's just so much. Like, storylines that I remember from my childhood that I'm just like, was it good or is it nostalgic? But, like, I'm someone that values that because, like all those years ago, that was something that brought my brother and I together. Like, I don't know how many years in a row he was Rey Mysterio for Halloween. Like, I remember, because Rey Mysterio's thing is that he's from San Diego. So he
fucking
has, like, the 619.
represent!
So I remember literally, like, cutting out numbers out of paper and, like sticking them to my brother's pants so he could be Rey Mysterio for Halloween.
I looked up what Rey Mysterio looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is. But I recognize him vaguely.
Yeah.
From my general cultural osmosis of wrestling up until now.
Yeah. Like, I've been reflecting a lot, like, with this stuff. I remember, like, choosing to like Batista because at that point Rey Mysterio and Batista were friends. Like, they were, like, a tag. I think they were tag. They might have not been an official tag team. And it was just something I'm like, yeah, like, my brother's favorite wrestler, I gotta be the friend one, you know?
Oh,
so
yeah, that's cute.
Like, it was just fun, and, like, to watch Friday nights, and, like, to see that come again, like, every Wednesday night, we watch wrestling, and it's like, I'm still a newbie, he knows a lot more than I do. He knows about, like, New Japan Pro Wrestling, the AAA, all of that stuff. But it's fun to, like, learn with someone.
No, it was super fun to, and it was really fun listening and like watching these videos. I think we'll post some of the links for those like me who are very much novices to the world of pro wrestling.
Pro wrestling.
That's the
I
term.
would say, 'cause I sent Anna the main. It's 3 videos by Super Eye Patch Wolf.
Yeah, they were very good.
I think that like watching. I think at that point, only the first 2 had come out. So Professional Wrestling is Stupid and Beautiful, and I love it.
Yeah.
And The Undertaker, long-term storytelling in wrestling were, like, also, like, a catalyst for me wanting to go back into that world.
Yeah, nice,
but it's scary. Like,
yeah.
I will say, like, I think, like, the first month that I was back into it, I just wanted to, like, absorb all of this information, and it's hard to, like Anna saw, like, the video. Sometimes things and storylines go back 10 years.
Yeah,
into
which
the past.
is mind-boggling. I'm like, wowza!
Yeah.
Like, you don't get the full brunt or the full, like, emotional weight of some storylines that are meant to be more poignant, unless you know the full context. Then you do, and it's like, whoa. Like, 10 years of, like, just building this storyline, and it's like... While also, like, doing kickflips and, like, jumping off of stuff and, like, doing all these rad tricks. I can't... I'm going to be describing the wrestling.
But I think that's, like, beautiful. Like, I'm really glad you, like, looked at this with an open mind, you know? 'Cause sometimes people are just asshats about it.
Yeah, no, I think it's very easy to be like, oh, I mean, wrestling is not a sport. It's not like, that's not what it is. It's not like, what is it, where they beat each other up, what's the actual one? The
MMA.
MMA, that's like, to the death, or whatever is going on over there.
Yeah. I've watched a couple of clips or matches, because they're really short as well.
Yeah, it's like, what, a couple
MMA
minutes?
Fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not for me.
No,
like,
I think, it's a very specific audience for that, too. Because that's, like, brutal. But, because wrestling isn't a sport. It's not, like... I don't know, it's not like, competitive. Because, like I said, they're predetermined. Like, there's storylines. And I think it's very easy for a lot of people to look down on wrestling as this, like... what's the term? Like, uncultured... It's like an uncultured thing to like wrestling. I think is like a very easy misconception to have of it. Just because
like
it's silly and like gimmicky sometimes and fun, that it's easy for people to disregard it as just that, as something stupid and for like stupid uncultured people. That's why I think they'll like, wrestling's fake, right? Saying they do, because Like, I mean, we know it's not a sport. Like, it's not what it's for.
Yeah.
It's not like soccer matches being predetermined. It's not. It's on a different plane. Like, it's,
also, like, I told someone once, I don't know who I told, but I was like, you don't think that certain fucking baseball games or soccer games haven't been predetermined?
Yeah. Also, it's like, come on.
You know.
The Illuminati exists, bro. We know. We know. Yeah, I mean, wrestling is its own thing. It's like theater and like stunt work and like whatever is going on in there.
Yeah,
like
it's like a soap opera. Like,
yeah, there we go.
I
Soap
don't know.
opera.
Yeah, like to me, there's a beauty. Like yesterday, I was watching a match, and like it got to a point where like I literally like sat up. Like I was so like, oh shit, like what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Like also like next week we're having a mimosa mayhem match in which loser will be dunked into a giant thing of like mimosa. You know? Stuff like that. So these matches are both happening on the same night.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I just love that, you know?
Yeah. Oh my god. No. Yeah. Like I think wrestling isn't something that I would watch just like casually or regularly, but it's something that I can definitely respect. Like I can really respect the craft that goes into it, and it really interests me how they like devise all this stuff and like what works and what doesn't, and like how like how the crowd reacts to it is like integral to all of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun.
Like crowd reactions are so important, which is like right now, like obviously there's no really any crowds happening. Yeah. But like some of the most like beautiful matches, you just like feel the crowd, even like 30 years after these matches have happened. You're like, this is what the crowd was feeling, you know? And I love that. I love that stuff.
Yeah. I think, like, part of me would like to go to a match at some point just to, like, feel that energy, but also I can't handle loud noises to that extent. Yeah. So I don't know if I could actually handle being in a wrestling arena. Maybe a small one.
Yeah. I mean, my brother and I are planning to one day visit like something here in like an LA area.
Yeah, because like you mentioned, like the small, like more local ones, maybe something like that I could handle. Yeah. Because like noise wise, I can't handle big ones.
Yeah, it gets wild. You never know what's gonna happen. Yeah.
But I think with that, we should probably get into the episode.
Yeah.
I think this episode, there isn't like it's a pretty fun episode, and the wrestling references are going to be fun. I'm very excited for the Norse mythology. But it's not like a super.
I don't have the words.
Let me find the right adjective. This episode isn't like super plot heavy, I guess would be the term, since the wrestling takes up a good chunk of it. Mm-hmm. It's not like Astro Boy or what's the fucking Daisy episode called?
Oh my god.
I'm so cuddly blanking. Louis 11.
Oh no.
Completely just whoosh, gone. Anyway, it's not as plot heavy or like really season relevant like Astro Boy or Louis 11 were. It's mostly just fun.
I mean, I very obviously got caught up in the wrestling.
Yes, like the wrestling is like all of it. So, and that's like very nice. Yeah. So, yeah, let's get into it. So we start with the Sun Chase. What is it? What's its name? Cloud Slayer, Sun Chaser, whatever. I guess if Launchpad's flying it, it'll be the Sun Chaser. Should we?
Yes.
Say that? Okay.
It'll always be the Sun Chaser in my heart.
Yes. And so yes, Launchpad's flying, and it's Scrooge with the kids, and he is just now delivering to them and us the plot relevant info.
A diagram and all.
Yes. He is talking about Jörmungandr, or the Midgard serpent. Yeah, so he's explaining that every 10 years, Jörmungandr releases his tail and threatens to destroy the planet. Unless the chosen champion of Earth can beat him and his barbarian minions in combat.
Every 10 years, Jörmungandr, the great snake that encircles the earth, releases his tail and threatens to destroy the planet.
I have numerous science-based questions.
Unless the chosen champion of Earth can defeat him and his barbarian minions in combat. I am that champion.
Ooh. I guess I can explain a bit of Jörmungandr real quick.
Yeah.
Because we have the cute little diagram behind him. And this is not the first time Scrooge has mentioned Jörmungandr and the fact that he has to be beaten by Scrooge specifically. This was first referenced in the season 2 episode Last Christmas in a very, aside way. So I was surprised and really, delighted by the fact that it came back and as the focus of an episode.
I have so many responsibilities throughout the year. My family, my business, secretly keeping the world-eating serpent Jörmungandr at bay. The what?
So Jörmungandr is from Old Norse mythology, so Vikings, 13th century and before that time. Though the 13th century is when, the main info was collected.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So Jörmungandr literally means in Norse mythology, in Old Norse, sorry, huge monster. That's what it means.
I love it.
So Jörmungandr, or the Midgard serpent, the world serpent, he's the child of Loki, and I'm not going to pronounce this correctly. Jörmungandr is the middle child of the giantess Angrboda, that's definitely wrong, and Loki. His siblings, I don't think Jörmungandr is given a gender in the mythology. He is the middle child, with his siblings being the wolf Fenrir and the goddess Hel, which kind of surprised me.
Okay.
And so Odin threw Jörmungandr into the great ocean that encircles Midgard. Again, Midgard is Earth. Midgard sounds fucking rad as hell, and I love saying it. So Midgard. And I guess he was a little guy, but then while he was in the ocean that encircles Midgard, he grew so large, Jörmungandr was able to encircle the earth and grasp his own tail, creating the Ouroboros. And according to Norse mythology, when Jörmungandr releases his tail, Ragnarok will begin. I'll get more into what Ragnarok is later. Ooh. But just know that it's basically end of the world, end times stuff. And in the same mythology, Thor is his archenemy. According to the Poetic Edda, which is the collection of the Norse myths, this is where we get Ragnarok and everything from, which was compiled by, this is a very fun name, compiled by Snorri Sturluson in the 13th century. This is where we learn about Ragnarok and a lot of the bulk of, the lore. That Thor is destined to, I believe, kill Jörmungandr, but then die of his own wounds.
Okay.
Afterwards.
Okay.
Thor isn't here, though, so who cares?
I mean, I don't think I was ever, a Norse mythology kid.
I just love all mythology. It's all just fucking rad as hell. I don't know why I know so much Norse mythology. I guess Thor. Not that Thor Ragnarok is at all, accurate in any way. Well, I guess they, kind of pick bits that are technically accurate. In Thor Ragnarok, when they revive Surtur, the giant fire demon god we see, he is part of Ragnarok, though he is not the one who's meant to start it, and then Jörmungandr doesn't show up at all in Thor Ragnarok, and Fenrir should be, this giant wolf that, is also eating people and the planet, so, and instead he's, Hela's pet / buddy. Yeah. So, like I said, Thor Ragnarok isn't accurate, but then also the Marvel Universe version is also not accurate. So,
yeah,
whatever.
But also, it's a great movie.
Yes, it's still a very good movie. Just because it doesn't stick to accurate Norse mythology does not mean it is not a good movie.
Tell me, brother, what were you the god of again?
Egyptian mythology dweeb as a child.
I was
It
not.
very much connected to my love of Yu-Gi-Oh! As a child.
There we go. You solved it. You solved it. Yeah, I didn't know Egyptian mythology. I know like Ra. I know like the gods. I'm like, yeah, it's the Cyrus. You got Ra. You got Anubis. That's it. That's about it.
That's all.
I know a bit more Norse and Greek, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway. So,
anyways.
yeah. Scrooge is explaining to the kids that every 10 years, someone has to face him. And it's this, like, whack-ass, like, he's like, you guys, the giant snake that encircles the earth,
And I love it because Huey immediately, like, is like, I have multiple, like, science-based questions about this. Yeah, like, Scrooge, I think, uses his cane to, like, lower Huey's hand down.
Yeah.
Because it's like, not here, Chief.
Science does not factor into this. A giant snake encircles the earth. Move on.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
Yes. Yeah, so every 10 years, Scrooge, or at least for some amount of time, it's been Scrooge who fights him.
Mm-hmm.
And that he's bringing the kids with him this time to kind of prepare them to see, like, to maybe take his place at some point.
Yeah, they need to be, like, the next, he calls him the champion of Earth.
Yes.
Is what Scrooge's title is, basically.
Which is fun.
Yeah, and he's, like, kind of, like, pumping them up. He's like, who will it be? Like, who will be the champion?
Yes.
He's like, Webby, Huey, and they're all kind of, like, proudly, like, standing up. Louie. And then he, like, it pans to Dewey, and immediately pans back to Webby, and he's like, Webby!
Webby! It'll definitely be Webby!
Webby.
One day, I'll have to pass the torch to the next champion of Earth. Which of you will it be? Webby, Huey, Louie? Webby?
You're saving my name for last, right? For dramatic effect?
Yes, that.
Very glad to see Webby involved. Webby, like, included in, like, his, like, like,
legacy.
his legacy in, like, the next generation, that Webby is very much one of them. Mm-hmm. But not Dewey. No faith in Dewey from the get-go. Which we will see is valid.
It's very much valid. I mean, Scrooge knows the kids.
Yeah.
He knows his kids.
But he's telling them, like, no, like, this is serious. Like, it's, it's very important. I'm just bringing you along. So you see, like what you'll be up against. Mm-hmm. And Huey points out, like, why are we here then? What about, like, Della and Donald? Mm-hmm. And Scrooge is very quick to counter that by saying, I can't fucking trust them to work together on shit. Much less their actual, literal fate of the world.
Yeah. He can't trust them to solve a jigsaw puzzle together.
Which, rough.
Yeah.
They don't even get invited on the trip. He's just skipping right over them. He's like, no. My, like, grown niece and nephew, I have no faith in. Off to the kids.
To the 11, 10-year-old children.
Yep, definitely the better option. And he makes it out to be this, like, gritty and, like, serious thing they're gonna embark on. And then he tells Launchpad to fly into a rainbow.
I love that, because he's, like, goes to, like, the window of the sun chaser, and he's like, it's just very serious.
Yeah.
Gird yourselves for the most treacherous, gritty, solemn fight we have ever faced. Launchpad, fly into that rainbow.
Ooh, pretty.
And this rainbow, it is also in accordance with Norse mythology.
Oh.
It is the Bifrost, or the Rainbow Bridge, which is the pathway to Asgard, where Valhalla is. Valhalla isn't its own land.
Mm-hmm.
Valhalla is a building or a specific place within the realm of Asgard.
Okay.
One of the 9 realms in Norse
Okay.
mythology.
We're both going to be teaching and learning.
We will. This is fun. And so we get this pan as they're flying in. It's all like Old Norse Viking buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Like 13th century. I don't fucking know. Think Vikings. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like Scandinavian buildings.
Very cool.
Yes.
I just think about How to Train Your Dragon.
Yes, that was my first thought. As to like suggest what the architecture looks like.
Yeah.
But so they land, and we see all these like Viking dudes like walking into this one big hall, and we look up, and I love this. I love this shot because Jörmungandr. Because technically he is around Earth, but I guess I'm assuming this is like a projection of him. This is a projection of him so that Asgard knows that things are chill. Because when I get into Ragnarok, what it is specifically, Asgard is affected too.
Okay.
Like Jörmungandr, this giant, like impossibly big snake, the same color as the sky almost, and it's a really it just looks nice.
Like, yeah, like, I love that effect of, like, kind of, like, I don't know how to describe it. Just, like
this,
very magical in a sense.
Yeah,
you know?
like, and, like, the scale of it really comes across, so it looks like a giant fucking snake, like, up above them.
I feel like I could see that. Like, I could imagine that, like, in relation to us.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it looks really cool. And the kids see this, and they're like, oh, shit. Webby's excited, obviously.
Webby, yes.
Is that a barbarian with a battle axe? They found a way to make rainbows better!
Welcome to Valhalla. All right, you saturnine snake, let's do this.
This is the best day.
I love just the casualness also of them crossing into, like, they're basically in another dimension.
Yeah.
Like, in not quite heaven thing. So, which is wild. They're just like, whoop, we're in Asgard now. Flying a plane into Asgard.
Don't think about it too hard.
It's fun.
No science allowed.
No, I'm not thinking about the science. Just like the very casualness of them just like, whoop, another dimension or planet or whatever. I think dimension is the best way of looking at it. Marvel is like, oh, another planet. And I'm like, fuck off, Marvel. It's magic. Shut up.
Marvel does a weird thing where it does and it doesn't want to embrace magic.
Yeah, it's like now the Asgardians are aliens, but then also Doctor Strange does have magic, but then does he? Because he has an Infinity Stone, which is made by aliens.
Yeah, who knows?
It's like just let there be magic. Come on.
I was gonna be like, magic exists, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Magic is a concept that is existing. So then we have, like, the intro, obviously, and the family, like, walks into this big hall.
Yeah, it looks rad as hell. We have, like, portraits we'll see of our, what's the word?
Wrestlers?
Yeah, thank you. I was gonna say contestants, not it. Wrestlers lining the walls.
Uh-huh.
And I think I'll quickly get into what Valhalla is, because that'll be important. So Valhalla is from the Old Norse, meaning Hall of the Slain, which is metal as hell. It's this majestic, enormous hall in Asgard. So I'm not sure if this, where we are specifically, is Valhalla. Cause Valhalla isn't like a city, it's like a building.
Oh, okay.
That's Valhalla.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if this is what we are now in, is Valhalla, whatever.
I think it is. I actually, now that I remember, I think the crew also mentioned that it was a play on, like, a hall.
Yeah.
A kind of thing.
Yeah, which is really fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Valhalla is this majestic, enormous hall in Asgard, which is ruled over by Odin, the king of the gods or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Odin. So, chosen by Odin, half of those who die in combat will travel to Valhalla upon their death, led by the Valkyries.
Mm-hmm.
The others will go to Freya's field, Freya being Odin's wife, and another goddess. Her field, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this, Folkvanger. That sounded pretty good. Let's say it's the right pronunciation.
Yeah.
It's a hall for, like, the greatest warriors chosen by Odin, who is, like, the warrior king.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, like, a huge honor to go here, like, when you die. And, most importantly, the warriors that go to Valhalla they go there in preparation to aid Odin during the events of Ragnarok.
Oh, okay.
And, once again, I'll get into what Ragnarok is in a couple minutes.
Hey.
Just keep you waiting.
Keep you on your toes.
Yes. So everyone's filing into, let's call it Valhalla.
And as they're walking, we have Huey, who's still questioning this. He's kind of like telling Scrooge, like, oh, so you're telling me that you're gonna fight the snake that's like 1,000 times bigger than you are? And Scrooge just like kind of like brushes him off, like, don't be silly, like, he transmorgifies into like this snake man beast first.
Yeah.
And Huey's like, oh yeah, sure, that makes sense.
It definitely makes more sense.
What's that rhythmic chanting?
A fierce Norse incantation meant to summon the beast.
Hey, check it out! Jörmungandr versus Scrooge t-shirts. Merchandising. Guess Louis knows what Louis's doing today.
So as they're walking in, we hear this, like, chanting. We can't make out what it is at this moment. But Huey asks Scrooge about it, and he's like, yeah, it's this, like, Norse incantation to summon the beast.
Yeah, the beast.
You know.
And that's a reference, right? The beast?
Yes, it is a reference to Brock Lesnar, who is, like, this kind of, like, we'll see when Jörmungandr, oh my god, tell me how to pronounce it again.
Jörmungandr.
Jörmungandr, kind of this kind of unstoppable force of a man. He's very, like, kind of your typical, like, beefy guy. He
is scary to look at. Like the actual Brock Lesnar. Like he was in my, like, reading material or watching material. He is a large man, like, solid muscles, so scary to look at.
Yeah,
and, like, just, like, a very intense face.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I can't look at you for too long. You're scary to look at.
Yeah, there's always, like, there's different types of wrestlers. Like, I'll get into it a little bit. Is just, like, we have, like, the more, like, beefier kind of muscle guys. We have, like, skinnier guys or, like, lighter guys that tend to be, like, high flyers, which they do more, like, fun maneuvers. We have, like, strikers who are more, like, kind of, I feel like it's closer to boxing, but not really. They're kind of, like, I always say they have, like, a dad bod, but my sister doesn't like what I say. So, like, different, I guess, body physiques have different, like, classes that they go into. That doesn't mean that people don't cross them. I think the WWE is not very accepting of that, but other, like, leagues are very, like, if you can do it, do it. And if you can do it safely, then do it. But, you
That's
know.
fun. And, so we see that Louis sees that merchandising is a thing in Valhalla, because there's some, we see some, I don't know, call them two Vikings, wearing, like, Scrooge versus Jörmungandr shirts, and Louis just, like, pieces out from the most of the plot at this point. He's like, oh, I can make some money here? Bye! Have fun fighting a giant snake!
He literally vanishes into, like, a rack of shirts.
Yeah. He's gone.
My brother wanted me to mention, for some reason he was very passionate about me mentioning, to support your local independent wrestlers merch, because that very much helps them out. He literally said so many times. I'm like, I will say it, my dude.
They're like, I think I don't know, what's the word? Like the shirts that the companies sell, or what's the term for that?
Like, merchandise?
Yes, yeah, I don't fucking...
Yeah.
Like, from, like, the companies, they look shithouse.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, give me some nice-looking merchandise. Jesus. And just slap the guy's face on there and be like, $25. Like, no. Put some effort into it. I want some artistic quality.
I'm such, like, an emotional hoarder. I still have wrestling t-shirts that I had as a child.
Oh my god.
That have, like, fun designs. And usually they're, like, bootleg
Oh, yeah. You have to post those pictures of those now, and I want to see them, and our listeners should see them as well.
I'll show you guys. I also collected a lot of the magazines and wrestling figures, which I still have.
Yeah, we want to see pics.
But yeah, so, like, you know, like, Louis kind of has a point. Merchandising is key, especially for, like, indie wrestlers. Like, if a company sees that you're, like, selling, obviously you have to have skill, but if like a company sees that you have, like, people love you, people are buying your stuff, even if it means you're, like, making them and packing them yourself, like, they're gonna want you.
And they're like, dang, alright.
Yeah.
People like you even like as like a nobody, basically.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah.
Alright. And so they open, so they get to the doors, and we have the Jörmungandr or Ouroboros on the door. Mm-hmm. And so they open the doors to this big hall, and we see that because Scrooge is hyping this whole thing up as, like, this, like, ancient, like, brawl, like, it's, like, that's, like, thousands of years old, and, like, Scrooge is, like, the latest to, like, take up this title, the mantle of champion of Earth.
Yeah.
And we see that it's wrestling.
It's wrestling.
It's wrestling.
Because as we come in and we're getting a shot, we're, like, the kind of the walkway towards the ring, like, banners come down. Mm-hmm. He calls it the ancestral Norse fighting pit.
Yes.
And Launchpad immediately knows that it's wrestling.
The ancestral Norse fighting pit.
Really? Because it seems like...
It's wrestling! This is awesome! This is awesome!
So these guys just copied professional wrestling?
No, this tournament is as old as the Earth itself. Wrestling copied all this stuff from them.
So Huey's, like, kind of amused, like, oh, so they just copied wrestling?
Yeah.
And it's like, nah! Wrestling somehow copied them. I don't know how, considering all of the guests are dead.
You know.
But...
But professional wrestling derived from this ritual.
Yes, derived exactly from this, which I love, which is so great.
Same. And we hear what the crowd is chanting. It's, this is awesome, which is, like, an actual thing. Like, it's a very common modern-day chant in wrestling shows when the crowd's just vibing.
Yes.
You know?
These Viking designs are all very, very fun.
Oh, yes.
We have Lady Vikings and Guy Vikings and indeterminate gender Vikings. Who knows what's going on?
Yeah. They're still walking towards the ring. It's like a far walk.
Yeah.
Dewey gets excited.
Yes.
Because he's like, he basically mentions the things that I love about wrestling. Like a flashy fight with flamboyant costumes where you get cheered by adoring fans. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And he gets hype. He's like, I'm gonna Dewey it.
Yes.
You know, what's gonna go wrong?
Yes. And Scrooge is, as he's, like, cracking all of his joints, he's like, well, you could die. Basically.
Yeah.
Because this is not, like, normal wrestling. It's wrestling, but it's wrestling with much more real stakes.
Yeah.
Like life and death. Yeah, because he's pointing out that you can get really, really badly hurt. Here, specifically. But Dewey's very focused on the adoration of the crowd.
Yes. Yeah.
And also we know that he's, like he thrives on attention, and positive attention only.
Yes.
So we'll see how... And here we get the entrance of Jörmungandr.
Yeah.
So he, like, dissolves from the, like, giant snake thing in the sky in like a burst of lightning.
Mm-hmm.
And he's called the chairman of the VWE, which I assume is the Valhalla Wrestling, and I could not figure out what the E stood for.
It's probably Valhalla Wrestling Entertainment, usually.
Nice.
It's an E.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good E word.
The ref introduces him both as that and as the beloved underdog.
Yes.
Which I find ironic to all hell.
Yes! No! So we get, like, the actual lore and, like, intricacies of wrestling and, like, with the angle. I'm trying to use terms.
Yes. Yes.
And then tying that to, like, the lore of Norse mythology to, like, actual Ragnarok. So, like, it's really interesting to me how all that works together. I guess if you want to talk about first why it's funny that he's the underdog.
Yes. So to me, it's funny that he's the underdog because usually the chairman or like someone who's in charge of like the company, I would say, is like the authority.
Yeah, he's the winning streak.
Yeah, the winning streak, you know. So, I mean, I guess AEW kind of breaks that a bit because the people who are kind of chairmen do fight and are more involved in storylines, but I also would not call them underdogs, and they very much have made it clear that they are not underdogs, and that they, like, even though they're very much involved in storylines, they're like, we're gonna, like, ensure that the next generation of wrestlers has a place to be.
Yeah, that's nice.
Know? Yeah. So Jörmungandr gets like a loud pop. So I'm gonna tell you some definition at the moment. So as Anna mentioned, an angle is a storyline. So it's the thing that drives wrestling forward. Here, I was talking to Anna earlier. It doesn't really apply in the sense because in universe there is no kayfabe. So kayfabe is keeping up the illusion that wrestling is real, even though it's not real, you know, like the storyline, certain wrestler doesn't actually hate certain wrestler unless they do. So kayfabe was a big thing in the olden days. That's the 80s and 90s.
The olden days when we weren't alive.
You didn't want to break kayfabe. So, like, people who were heels, so heel is someone who is, like, the bad guy. They're, like, the one being booed. You don't want them to succeed, or you do, you know.
Yeah. You can boo with, like, enjoyment.
Yes, exactly.
Like someone you love to hate.
Yes, of course, yeah. I forgot where I was going with this.
I think so. Wait, how do you pronounce it? Kayfabe?
Kayfabe.
Almost there.
Okay, so yeah.
It's kind of like suspension of disbelief. Like
Yes.
that's what they're maintaining. Not here, but in real life.
Not here. But in real life, like, the storyline would probably be, like, the McDuck stable. So a stable is when multiple wrestlers form, like, a union together. It would be something along the lines of, like, the McDuck stable, who are all heels, against, like, these warriors who aren't adored enough, you know, kind of thing. It'd be, like, a very classic, I'm gonna get into it a little bit later, like, upper class / working class kind of vibe, which worked a lot for, like, the 80s, you know?
Yeah.
So, in kayfabe isn't, I mean, I'm not someone who, like, cries about kayfabe being broken. I don't care. Like, some people get really mad when, like, I think with, like, social media being more, like, a part of wrestling, there's a lot of wrestlers who, like, do YouTube on the side, or they do Twitch on the side, and so they, like, hang out with their friends who may be, like, their enemy in the ring, you know? Like, that's a thing. Here, obviously, like, there is no kayfabe really to break, because...
Yeah, because it is real.
It's real,
Kinda.
yeah.
No, it is real. I'll get in. Yeah, and I'll get into.
Yeah.
because the reason why it's real kind of ties into Norse mythology.
Okay.
Like the whole point of the plot, which is what really interests me. But continue.
Jörmungandr is the baby face or the face. It's like the person that is the good guy. Theoretically, he should be cheered, but sometimes they just get really annoying. In the case of John Cena, people like it comes to a point where like people just don't want them.
Okay.
In Lucha Libre, it's called El Técnico. So it kind of differs a bit in the sense that Técnicos are more like they use valid wrestling techniques. And Los Rudos are more like dirty wrestlers.
Yeah.
So here we don't have an example of a dirty wrestler, but a dirty wrestler is anyone who will like cheat or poke eyes, like do kind of those kind of gestures, movements to win, they scratch, stuff like that. We also have in wrestling the which actually I had never heard of this term. Oh my god, where did I put it? The tweener?
Huh?
I had never heard it. Tweener is apparently someone that is neither like heel or face.
Huh.
Or some people say that it's a villain who receives like a face, a hero's welcome.
Okay.
So you would kind of say people like The Rock.
Okay.
Appears in this.
Yeah, because The Rock is technically, or he was a heel, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But everyone fucking loved him, right?
Everyone loves him.
Right.
People want to be insulted by him.
Yeah.
It's like the thing, you know?
Like we said earlier, so we get Jörmungandr, and he is a giant snake man. So I don't know if there's like normal snake people in DuckTales, because there are like frog people. Because I was wondering, I'm like, what makes him like a snake man beast? I guess like him being massive and like...
Yeah.
I don't know.
That this isn't his like true form?
Yeah, because his true form is the fucking giant snake thing in the sky. I love that the DuckTales crew is like this. Like, we love beefy boys. Let's just get all of these really buff, shirtless guys. Just cram them in there.
Honestly.
And I really like, I don't know the detail of like, because he's obviously the snake, so his neck is extra long because he's a snake, and it'll occasionally move more snake-like, or it'll very often move more snake-like, which is very fun. And he has, we'll see, sometimes his eyes will narrow more to like more snake pupils, which is fun. And he is voiced by Christopher Hivju, which who knows how the fuck I pronounce that, but he is a Norwegian actor. Most well known as portraying Tormund Giantsbane in Game of Thrones.
The day I ask my people to fight with the crows is the day my people cut my guts from my belly and make me eat them.
Look up this man. He has the most wild face. He looks like exactly like he does in Game of Thrones. Like red hair, huge red beard. He looks like he's just been roughing it in the mountains in Norway. They brought him down from the mountains to do this voice acting and then sent him back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's him. I vaguely recognized him before I blocked all mentions of Game of Thrones from my Twitter.
Yes. Game of Thrones, I think he's like this fun, crazy guy.
Okay.
Who is, I think, in love with Brienne of Tarth, which, valid.
Okay, yeah, that's valid.
Yeah. So I think I'll get into a bit of why the fact that the baby face at the face is the underdog is funny and fits really well into Norse mythology. So, like we said, Jörmungandr is meant to bring about the end of the world. Like by releasing his tail, he signals that the world is going to end. And by the world ending, I literally mean everything. Ragnarök is the end of everything.
Yeah.
So, in Old Norse, which translates either to Fate of the Gods, Twilight of the Gods, or Fate of Mankind. Ragnarök itself is the cataclysmic destruction of the cosmos. So not just Earth, the cosmos. And everything in it, including the gods.
Oh, okay.
Which I think why it's funny that we don't see the gods in this. Like, considering they have a pretty big stake in it.
Yeah.
Their existence. And but Ragnarok itself isn't just like, boom, done. It's a series of events. So Jörmungandr releasing his tail is one of those events. There's like a whole shit ton of lore that I'm not going to get into. It gets real specific, like who battles who, who's dying, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
But basically, it's a great battle, natural disasters, and the submersion of the world in water.
Okay.
And the whole flooding of the world is Jörmungandr's part.
Okay.
Because he is in the ocean that surrounds Midgard. When he releases his tail, he then basically raises the seas and floods the earth.
Okay.
And then his...
Good old dunk.
Yeah. And then his sibling Fenrir will open his jaws, and his jaws will open so wide he'll be able to consume both the earth and the sky.
Okay.
And, like, eat everything else. That's not
Yeah.
That's not flooded. So Ragnarok is literally the end of everything.
Okay.
And so the people of Valhalla, they want Ragnarok to happen.
Uh-huh.
Because that's their purpose of being in Valhalla, is to help Odin in battling, in the great battle of Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because they're cheering for, they are cheering for Jörmungandr to end the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's literally, because he speaks to the fallen warriors of Valhalla, and he's telling them, this is the year we're gonna bring about Ragnarok, and we'll end the world, and he basically talk about bringing other warriors to join them, because they're going to go and kill everyone on Earth.
Yeah.
Which is wild. There's two kind of, like, end game for Ragnarok.
Okay.
Like, what the end game looks like.
Okay.
There is the pagan original version that historians believe, where it's just destruction. Everything ends.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the pagan version. But historians believe that, due to Christian influence, later versions of the Ragnarok mythos ended with a rebirth.
Okay.
Where at the end the world is made anew. The historians believe that's more due to Christian influence later on. Mm-hmm. That they're like, nah, it's alright. We all die, yeah, but it'll be cool at the end.
Yeah. Okay.
But for Vikings, which ties also into why the warriors of Valhalla are like, fuck yeah, let's bring about Ragnarok, is that Ragnarok isn't meant to be some doomsday foretelling. It was a story that was meant to inspire.
Okay.
It's because it is basically like, just as the gods will die, so will every human being. Just like the gods, humans can face the end with the same dignity and courage and honor.
Okay.
So it was like this very like inspirational thing to like have Ragnarok happen, even if it ended in like the end where that the cosmos were destroyed and that was it. It was this thing to be, I don't know if celebrated, but honored.
Yeah.
Because you were going out with honor, like you're going out with pride.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting to me.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I dig it.
Yeah. And so with Scrooge being the heel, which is fun because he's the bad guy because he's stopping the world from ending. So it is a bit of a fun twist on like, Scrooge is the heel. He's not popular. Jörmungandr is the face, and he's beloved. But he's beloved because he wants to end the world. And Scrooge is hated because he's stopping him from doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was just fun twists on like the angle of wrestling, like the roles that they're given with the actual mythology that they're using. Because Scrooge is the bad guy, not because he's doing something bad, like he's saving the earth. But in this setting, he's bad. He's the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's very fun.
I love it. I especially love how Scrooge goes about it.
Yes. So we have Jörmungandr playing to the crowd. Everyone loves him.
Yeah.
And he is pretty fucking radical. Christopher Hivju does a very good job voicing him. It's a very fun voice.
He has, I call it like the wrestler cadence. There's a specific way that you speak to address the audience.
Introducing the chairman of the VWE, our beloved underdog, a man snake of the people, Mr. Jörmungandr!
Thank you! I can't tell you how honored I am to be here, fighting for you, the fallen warriors of Valhalla! You all died gloriously in battle, and now everyone on Earth will have the chance to join you here once we defeat Team Earth! This is Rumble for Ragnarök 100! Woohoo!
I am curious because the fact that Scrooge has only been doing this for some amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been other champions of Earth before him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, was Thor before? Where the hell is he?
Maybe, yeah. Huh.
He's getting into the actual mythology. I'm like, Thor, where the fuck you at?
He dipped.
I guess.
So we're told that this is going to be a best-of-3 tournament. You know, Valhalla's great fighters are going to face off against the gilded greedmonger, the hated hoarder, the infamous millionaire miser. And, like, I love it because the kids don't know, like, don't get with the program fast enough.
No.
They're very confused.
Yeah, they're like, wait, who's he talking about?
And it's Scrooge.
Yes, he changed into his wrestling outfit.
Yeah, his wrestling singlet.
Yes, it's great, with a mask and everything.
He plays... He's a rich asshole.
Yes, yeah. That's his gimmick?
His gimmick, yeah.
And reality.
Gimmick is the character traits that any wrestler has that defines who they are. Gimmicks can be based on, like, your real-life personality. Like, for example, like, a fun example for me is there is a female wrestler, Britt Baker. She is, like, a dentist. Like, in real life, she is an actual dentist. And part of her personality, like, her gimmick is that she is, like, a dentist. She is better than you, kind of thing.
Yeah. Holy, can you fucking imagine, like, your dentist, like, oh, on the side, I
wrestle. No, that's the thing.
I wrestle.
I didn't know that she was still actively, like, a dentist.
Oh, shit!
I thought she maybe had her, like, license or degree. Yeah. But she's like, yeah, like, I work, and then I, like, take Wednesday, Thursday off, and then, like, to wrestle.
Wow.
And then I work.
Life goals.
Yeah. Or, you know, a gimmick can be complete fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have a lot of supernatural gimmicks or, like, real silly 90s, 80s gimmicks. It just depends. So, Scrooge's gimmick is based off of Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, who we'll insert a clip of his laugh.
His laugh is wild. I heard it. I'm like, whoa. That is a laugh.
The most magnificent belt ever created, and it's mine. Something that will show the entire wrestling world just how truly great I really am.
The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, he was a wrestler in the 1980s who is he's described as corporate greed, like, incarnate.
Yeah.
He is this kind of, like, just, like, this rich man villain.
Yeah.
He very much is beloved for being just a dick to everyone. And so, one of his whole things was that everyone has a price. Was his, like, kind of, like, one of his catchphrases. And he would literally, like, poke fun at poor people. Like, make fun of, like, Anna saw, like, a kind of, like, his Hall of Fame induction video. Mm-hmm. He would make crowd like, members do real fucked up shit.
Yeah.
To give him money. I think one of the most messed up examples is where he tells a little kid that if he can bounce a basketball 15 times,
oh my God,
he'll give him $500.
He kicks the basketball!
Yeah. He kicks it. And it's done. And it's so sad because you see the mom of the little boy, like, hugging him afterwards. He was just kind of like that. And at that point, like, kayfabe is still very much alive, you know? So wherever he went, he kind of had to, like, do this thing to people, you know?
Just be this absolute asshole.
Yeah.
It's great.
So we see Scrooge. He is in his green singlet. And Scrooge, he goes around with, like, a sack, and he has a top hat on, collecting back taxes from people.
Yeah, from the audience.
From the audience.
And everyone's booing him, of course.
Yeah, everyone's straight up booing him. The taxes thing is a kind of another reference to a wrestler. This is telling you 80s gimmicks. He was a wrestler that collected taxes, and he was Ted DiBiase's partner oftentimes. His name was Erwin R. Shyster.
Yes.
So he was the IRS.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a thing that they did together. So Scrooge isn't afraid of heat. So
he is like full on just leaning into. He's like, oh yeah, I'm the fucking worst. Everybody boo me.
Yeah, heat is just all the booing. Like, you want that as a heel.
Yeah.
And Scrooge really goes for it because he's over there like calling people poor and like.
Yeah. And we have Launchpad explaining all this to the kids, because we see that Launchpad watches a lot of wrestling while he flies.
This will be a best-of-3 tournaments. Our greatest fighters will face off against the Gilded Greed Monger, the hated hoarder, plain famous millionaire miser.
Wait, who's he talking about?
Wish me luck, laddies!
All right, Pam! Look at that! The miser is collecting back taxes!
Guys, I'm starting to think that Scrooge isn't the good guy here.
Yeah, Jörmungandr is the babyface people's champ that everyone loves. Scrooge is playing the role of the villainous heel. I watch a lot of wrestling while I fly.
Wait, while?
And Huey is like, wait, what do you mean while you fly?
Wait. So he's explaining to the kids and the audience what's going on here.
Yeah. And he explains the terms heel and babyface. And Dewey can't wrap his head around the fact that Scrooge is being booed.
Yeah.
He very much defends him.
Yeah.
Because he's the greatest hero of all time. You know?
Yes. And Webby's like, well, I guess here he isn't. And that's the whole point. Here he isn't. Mm-hmm. Like, he is doing the heroic thing. He is fighting Jörmungandr to save the world. But in the eyes of this audience, he's the bad guy for doing that.
Yeah. And I love that he leans into it.
Yes.
Because he's a little...
Yeah. He's this dramatic asshole. He's like, oh, I'm the bad guy here? Awesome. Totally. I'm down.
He gets to, like, channel, like, OG Scrooge and the cheapness of that.
The utter cheapness of 1987 Scrooge. And comic Scrooge, to be fair.
Yeah. My brother wanted me to mention that I don't think it's a I don't know. I mean, I don't know how into wrestling the crew is. I think Tanner Johnson is, which he directed the episode. Yes. So my brother was saying that Scrooge reminds him a lot of MJF. So Maxwell Jacob Friedman, he's kind of like an up-and-coming heel, and he does such a good job of, like, working the crowd. Like, I hate him with a passion. He is, his theme song, because wrestlers have theme songs, and entrances and stuff, all that fun stuff. He does this whole, like, it starts off saying, I'm better than you, and you know it. And his whole kind of vibe is that he's kind of, like, this rich asshole that, like, thinks he deserves it all.
Mm-hmm.
you know? And at the moment in AEW wrestling, he's sort of like on the up and coming. And to me, I'm just waiting for someone to knock him down. You know?
Yeah.
It's that thing. And he is someone who respects kayfabe.
Okay.
Like, nowadays, like I said, you know, nowadays with, like, social media and stuff, wrestlers are kind of, like, more in and out of kayfabe. It's, like, if you meet a heel in public, they're probably not gonna, like, be mean to you.
Yeah.
Unlike, MJF.
Oh, wow.
He literally had, not a controversy, but apparently last year, a child went up to him that really liked him, and he flipped them off.
Whoa!
And he's very much like that.
Yeah.
Like, he is someone who actually keeps kayfabe.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Very much alive. I'm excited to see where he goes. I hate his guts.
I think, I wanted to do a quick shout out to Paul. He told us how to pronounce his last name.
Oh.
Do you know?
It is Siebert.
Siebert, okay, that's what I was gonna say. Cool. Shout out to him, 100%, because he made, when the episode came out, he made a whole Twitter thread on all the references.
Yes.
And for me, who has only now slightly more wrestling knowledge, partly thanks to him from at the beginning, it was really helpful and really nice to see someone point out, like, all of these really specific references. And this episode, as we were, talking, has a shit ton of really in-depth references.
Yeah, and there's some that I don't even know. Like, we see right now that Scrooge gets into the ring, and he goes to, like, toss his sack of money.
Yeah.
And in doing so, he knocks out the announcer.
Yes.
And the announcer is a reference to the late Gorilla Monsoon, who is, like, a classic, beloved, like, announcer. I never knew him. I don't think he was, like, announcing during the times that I was watching. But it's like if you look at the bird character,
he's a
you look
Puffin.
at him, it's Puffin. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
he has a rad as hell design. We see him a bit. He's like just sitting back, really chill.
Yeah.
And then so he's a Puffin, very fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just the name Gorilla Monsoon is so rad. What the hell?
Yeah.
Love that.
I don't know much about him, but he seems like a rad guy.
Yeah, so that's just like one of the fun, like, more in-depth references that this episode really does. And so he gets knocked out, and Launchpad rushes over and just shoves this unconscious man out of his chair and takes his spot.
He calls dibs unannounced.
Yeah, and everyone just kind of lets this happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no pushback. What they're using as mics is I'm trying to pronounce this correctly, a Yalar horn. It is which is the translation the translation being hollering horn or loud sounding horn.
I love it.
And these date back to Old Norse mythology. These are old as shit things. They're associated with the god Heimdall, who kept watch over the Rainbow Bridge for invaders and for the coming of Ragnarok. Mm-hmm. But they're also, you see them a lot, like Vikings use them. They're like a war horn. I think the Vikings football team uses them as like, they're like a merchandise thing I think you can buy.
Can you believe that I thought that when you said that, I thought, like, Vikings playing football, like actual Vikings. That's where my brain is at right now.
Okay. I think that the Vikings are a football team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Play for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a Yalar horn.
Okay.
I spent the time to learn how to pronounce it correctly, because it's spelled in a fun Norwegian way. Mm-hmm. There's a G in there. And a J. So, I had to look it up.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, Huey graciously announces that he's going to help Launchpad, because Launchpad's obviously going to need his help.
Yes.
And,
how the turntables, Huey.
So, Huey did earn his Junior Woodchuck sports commentary badge.
Yes.
From that one episode.
The missing links of Moorshire.
Yes, that's the one.
Point to me.
Yeah. And he very gently starts talking, trying to, like, and not even hype people up, I guess just inform people.
He's, like, describing, like, a golf game. It's, like, the tone he's using.
Yeah.
Greetings, sports fans. Today's spirited match is shaping up to be an enthusiastic...
Are you ready to Ragnarök?
And, like, fireworks, like, explode. Well, not fireworks. Fire explodes out. The crowd goes wild. And that is a classic reference to Michael Buffer's classic line everyone knows.
Yes, oh my god, that's the... Yeah.
From the capital city of the United States of America, Washington, D.C., ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
He was, like, both a boxing and wrestling announcer. I did not know that he was a boxing announcer.
Huh.
But yeah. And so Launchpad is the one explaining now.
Yes.
Launchpad said that this is the first of the 3 matches. And then the first one to pin their opponent wins. So it's a very simple one-on-one match.
Yeah. So this is Scrooge versus Strongbeard.
Yes. And he is supposed to represent kind of these kind of like popular wrestlers in the 80s who had kind of like big beards, kind of like buff guys. I don't know a lot about them. I'm going to be like with you. Paul Siebert tells us that he's kind of supposed to be modeled after gorgeous Jimmy Valiant, Michael Hayes, and the Boogie Woogie Man. That's also Jimmy Valiant. I guess it's the same guy with different iterations.
Oh.
But he's kind of like this, he's a pig, and he has like this big beard, and he's kind of like dressed in like neon 80s colors.
Yeah.
You know.
He's voiced by John DiMaggio.
Oh.
That guy's everywhere.
Yeah.
And Launchpad is narrating as we see that a Strongbeard, like, his beard is magic, and if you, like, because you see him hand, like, a strand of hair from his beard to an audience member, and just by, if you have even just a single strand of his hair, you get, like, this beard energy, which means you get buff as hell.
Yeah.
And so he's in the ring with Scrooge.
Real quick, I will define some ring terms. Obviously, we have the ring. We have the ropes, usually 3. They usually are made of like this fiber wrapped around with tape, but some like industries, they're like metal cables.
Whoa!
Wrapped around with like a rubber hose.
Okay.
So they're rough.
Yeah,
you know?
ouchie.
And they're held together in place by the turnbuckles, which are like usually padded with some sort of foam, and those are to the metal poles. What we're going to call the apron is the part of the ring that is outside of the rope, so it's like a little chunk, like a little ledge, basically.
Yeah.
It is, as Anna learned earlier, the hardest part of the ring. Because the rings are just like these like metal and wooden boxes that you place canvas on.
I thought they were padded.
They're a little padded, but the apron isn't. The apron tends to be the hardest part, yeah.
Should we explain why that is significant to me?
Yeah, let's explain.
Okay. So, I guess to just preface this, look up, what's his name? Mr. McMahon tears his quads.
Yes.
Not a good thing to tear your quads. It's bad.
Yeah.
But so, who is Mr. McMahon? Just for quick backstory, who this
quick backstory
insane person is.
It's funny because it's one of those things that I like introduced to Anna right away because it's funny to me. So Mr. McMahon is technically like the chairman of the WWE World, who is kind of like the most popular wrestling federation, I guess you would say. So this event happened at WrestleMania, which is like kind of like
oh woof, I know that
Rumble.
part.
Oh yeah, it's at a WrestleMania event. Or no, it was a Road to WrestleMania. Sorry.
Okay.
Because usually the winner of a Royal Rumble, which here in this episode is later going to be called a Battle Royale, will face on the champion at WrestleMania.
Okay.
So Royal Rumble, you kind of go one by one every couple of minutes, and then wrestlers will be eliminated over the top rope. At this point in this match, blah, 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 wrestling happens. John Cena and Dave Batista are the only ones in the ring. And in a botch job, which a botch job is when something goes wrong that's not scripted, they both fall over the top rope and hit the ground.
Yeah, so they're
at
both
the
out.
exact same time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they're both out at the exact same time. So sometimes you could probably say, like, if one of them fell first, you could call it.
Yeah.
Both of them fall. No one knows what to do.
Yeah. And so
the refs don't know what to do. Yeah. So in comes Mr. McMahon.
Okay, wait, let me explain from this part, because where I lost my mind. Before I knew anything about wrestling, you sent me this video, and I could not fathom this. Yeah, so, because Mr. McMahon, because he's the big boss, he sees they fuck this up, and he is just pissed as fuck. You see him? Yeah. So watch the video. He is, like, storming down, like, the entranceway or whatever. He's storming up to the ring to just yell at everyone. Mm-hmm. And he has this very distinct, weird walk. Yes. Where, like, how would it keep, like
a power walk in which he's very stiff.
Yes.
It's very stiff walk, and I feel like only, like, his arms are moving.
It's like a mannequin walking.
Yeah.
It's a mannequin that is filled with rage. A very buff mannequin filled with rage. So he is storming over to the ring. He, like, throws his jacket to the ground. He is yelling. And he throws himself into the ring. And so there's, there's the ropes and everything in the way. So he throws himself in a way so he goes under the ropes. But what this insane person does is he doesn't climb under. In trying to, like, slide himself underneath, he full-on throws himself forward without bending his knees, trying to actually climb in. And he hits the apron, the rim, the outside of the ring, full force, like, right above his kneecaps, like where the thigh starts. He hits that on both legs on the apron. And I thought the apron was padded, so I couldn't figure out how he tore both quads in both his legs by doing this. And then I explained, I said to Faby, and she's like, no, it's hard as fuck. And I'm like, oh, well, there you go. I'm really into sports medicine and first aid, we watched a lot of videos in sports medicine of injuries that happened in sports games on live television. And so we would watch it in slow motion. We would see what happened to tear the ACL, to break the leg, to break the arm, what motion caused it. Yeah. And I couldn't fathom it. But I slowing it down, and then now knowing that the outside is hard as hell, this insane man hits the same part of both of his legs at the exact same time by throwing himself forward, not bending his legs and climbing in like a sane person who is not 60 years old. And in the video, so he hits his legs, he slides in, and he goes to stand, and his legs don't support his weight because he tore his quads, which their purpose is to extend or straighten your leg. Yeah. And so he goes to stand and collapses immediately. And so for the rest of this video, he is sitting on the ground, his legs extended in front of him like he's like a toddler, yelling at these humongous wrestlers and the refs. He is just pointing and screaming at them.
So, yeah, that's my favorite part, because obviously they noticed that something went wrong.
Yeah.
Obviously.
He can't stand.
No one breaks character in the sense that as soon as he's on the ground yelling, furious, he turns red.
Yeah.
everyone moves this argument from the middle of the mat to him.
They just move it over to him.
Yeah.
This guy is sitting on the ground, and I'm like, it is the most wild thing.
Yeah. Like, I will say the video isn't, like, graphic. Like,
no. Yes, sorry. It's not graphic. You don't, like,
yeah.
An ACL tear, muscle tears, you don't see anything, really.
Yeah.
Unless it's, like, unless it's, like, an arm, but I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, it's because he has pants and everything, so you don't see anything. Mm-hmm. It just, his legs give out. Yeah. And he's just sitting on the ground.
Yeah. And, like, you, like, hear different wrestlers talk about, like, what happened. Like, apparently he was so fucking pissed that he, like, drove himself to the hospital.
False!
Yeah, who knows?
False!
But
this man would not be able to stand. They would have to carry him to his car. And then it's like, no, don't let him drive himself to the hospital. What the fuck? No, he can't drive. Like, the pain alone is wild. Yeah, and just, I mean, kudos to him for having the talent to tear both of his quads. Like, that is a hard muscle to tear. You have 4 of them.
Yeah.
Like, and those, I mean, these are some of your strongest muscles. They help you stand. Like, they're how you stand and walk and run.
Yeah.
So, like, it's wild to me.
He's not even, like, wrestling.
Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah, it's not like he's, like, a wrestler, like, whatever. Like, in just throwing himself into the ring, enraged, somehow tears both of his quads, which, like, actual, like, athletes in doing their sport don't do.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
Like, active athletes don't tear their quads. And then this guy manages to do it.
It's ridiculous.
I'm sorry, we're on this tangent. It is just wild to watch.
Oh, yeah, it's wild. Like, buckshit, like, you know, like, that's why I say, like, wrestlers are improv kings sometimes.
Yeah.
Because in this clip, you see that, like, Batista and John Cena start, like, showboating, like, away from Mr. McMahon. But, like, it's freaking hilarious to me.
Yeah, oh my god. Yeah, so I guess, lesson, kids, the apron is hard. It's hard.
As the WWE would say every time it started Friday nights on SmackDown, kids, don't try this at home. Yeah. Even though I did.
Christ.
I very much did.
Christ.
There's a move here that someone does that I did on my brother.
Oh my god, I'm afraid to learn what that was now.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, so Scrooge is he's gonna actually fight Strongbeard now.
Yes.
Because we have Dewey telling him, like, not to, he's like, don't listen to, like, to not listen to the boos, like, you're a hero. Yeah. And Scrooge is telling him, like, nah, dude, like, it's fine, like...
What matters is that he knows that he's doing the right thing, you know? And then immediately followed by him mocking the crowd.
Yeah.
You cannot let them talk to you this way. You're the hero.
Nah, that's all right. What matters is that I'm doing the right thing.
Give me a handout.
I'm the richest duck in the world, and you're not.
And then Strongbeard grabs him, and then we get him to it.
I tried my best to learn the terms, but like my brother said, this is a cartoon and not all the moves translate one-to-one.
Yeah.
So I'll try my best. But he bounces Scrooge off the ropes really fast, and he, like, grabs him like a bear hug, basically. Mm-hmm. Really, really tight. And Scrooge does what Launchpad describes as the penny pincher hold.
Yeah.
And we see that Huey is, like, he calls it, like, oh, I don't know what this is. Like, it may be, like, an acupuncture pressure point, like a neck massage. Yeah. And, like, Launchpad's really quickly, like, kind of interrupting Huey.
To actually give actual play-by-play, since Huey's very uncertain about all this. But then we see that Strongbeard's beard is, like, alive.
Yes.
And, because it's magic, and so it taps Scrooge on the shoulder and distracts him in what Launchpad calls a beard fake-out, I think.
Yeah, yeah. they slam Scrooge into the turnbuckles.
And so we're getting the crowd booing him again, and Dewey once again being upset by it.
You're cheering the wrong guy! Scrooge has saved the world countless times, and your guy is the minion of a giant dragon man!
And people start throwing food at him.
Yep, and trash.
Which I guess Huey doesn't know that, like, by being a part of a heel's entourage, you're immediately hated.
Yeah.
So, at that moment, Scrooge realizes that he has, like, one of the little, like, beard hairs
wrapped around his
around.
finger. And it's this really cool shot. Like, we get this, like, a different shot than we normally get in DuckTales, because we see he lifts his arm, and we get, like, it comes into focus.
Yeah. I feel like you can, like, feel the weight of, like, the muscle. He turns muscular in the arm.
Oh, it's awful to look at, though.
And we have Launchpad describing that the miser has absorbed some beard energy.
Yes. Wild sentence.
And so at this moment, Scrooge gets his comeback.
Yes.
So it's the point of the match where, like, things kind of change one way or the other. You know? So Scrooge he's a powerful old man.
Yeah. I mean, he should have been dead, like, almost a century ago. So, yeah.
But, like, not even counting his muscular arm, he ends up knocking out Strongbeard. I feel like I keep forgetting his name.
Oh,
no. So Strongbeard is laying on the canvas. Scrooge is on top of the turnbuckle, on top of the post, and he freaking does a shooting star press, which is a backwards flip.
Yeah,
no, it's
majestic.
Yeah. So the shooting star press is like a high-flying move. Like, I love high-flying wrestling.
It's wild.
Like, high-flying wrestlers, like I mentioned before, like the Hardy Boys, even the Young Bucks now, they're people, or the Lucha Bros, they're people who can, like, walk on the rope, like tightrope.
Yeah, that's
like,
wild.
flip.
That's like, that's like full-on,
things.
like, gymnastics.
Yeah, like, there was a move like, they bounce off the ropes and stuff like that. Like, it's legit, like, amazing. So he does that, and my brother wanted me to mention that, in the WWE, the shooting star press used to be illegal.
Oh, wow.
Because...
I mean, I can buy that.
Brock Lesnar, who is a big guy...
Oh, God.
Attempted it.
Oh, God.
And almost bodily injured himself to, like a bad degree.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean, God.
So,
I would have thought he'd hurt the person, because he's a very solid man.
Just, I don't know, shooting star press is fun. And yeah, Launchpad calls it the comeback win. Yeah. So there's 1 point for Team Earth.
Yeah, because Scrooge pins.
Yes,
Strongbeard.
pins.
Yeah.
A pin is just the act of holding your opponent's shoulders to the ring. Okay. So a successful pinfall is having both shoulders on the canvas for a count of 3.
Yeah.
So you can usually, break the pinfall. Usually it's done by kicking, or like the motion of kicking will at least get one shoulder up.
Okay, and that's why Scrooge grabs like one leg to keep him pinned. Okay.
Yes. And so those are called near falls when they like break that stuff.
Okay. Scrooge wins this round, so that's one of the 3 that Team Earth has won.
And we see him playing up the crowd like a lot.
Yeah, because he's like what's the word? He's like showboating, kind of like. But then Dewey, gets into, and they're all booing him and throwing trash at Scrooge. But then Dewey gets into the ring to start defending Scrooge, and he's yelling at them, like, "Don't you know who this is? Like, he's the hero, whatever." Not getting like not only like that Scrooge has to embody like this role, but this is like what Scrooge has to do to win. Like, this is just part of it. He just has to inhabit the role. And in that the eyes of Valhalla, Scrooge is the bad guy fully.
Yeah. So not understanding that in doing this, he is being a very good heel.
Yes.
Because heels insult the crowd. So telling the crowd what to think is the perfect way to get them to hate you.
And Dewey maybe does too good a job of being a heel, because one of the audience members picks up a chair to throw at him. Which, calm down, sir.
Yeah. And it's a wooden chair.
Yes.
Which I think Dewey gets the wooden chair. Everyone else gets like a metal-looking chair, like the adults.
Yeah.
Later on. But Scrooge dives to keep it from hitting Dewey.
Yes, and the chair breaks on Scrooge's back.
Yeah.
And so he's hurt. He got very much hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And so Webby and Dewey have to help him up, and Scrooge is telling them, like, oh, I am hurt, so one of you guys is going to have to take my place sooner than we thought.
A little thing about chairs and props in wrestling, they're usually rigged.
Yeah.
So, like, bolts of chairs and the metal is a lot thinner and stuff. But you can still very much get hurt with them. Like, nowadays, wrestlers don't really take shots to the head.
Yeah, because concussion.
Yes. You would take them to, like, the back area.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
And the chair does break on Scrooge's back, to, like, the credit. But, yeah, like, it's not like a regulated chair. Like, an audience member throws it at him.
And something fun, I guess, because, trash throwing doesn't really happen in wrestling, at least not in, big professional
These are Vikings.
Yeah.
They're a little more lowbrow.
Yeah, but my brother made, like, a fun point, which I didn't know. Apparently, in Mexico, if, like, you have, like, an exceptional match, fans will literally throw money into the ring.
Holy shit!
Yeah, because, like, it's kind of, like, this sign of, like, this match was so good that it was worth way more than we paid for.
Yeah. Oh, wow, yeah.
And I'm like, I need to watch, I haven't watched the video of it, but I'm like, that's, like, freaking rad as all hell.
Yeah.
You know?
That's fun. Yeah, so Dewey fucking played himself.
Yes.
Good job. And he also, broke Scrooge's back.
And we see, like, as they're walking Scrooge, like, backstage, he looks at the audience with dread because everyone's very much pissed at, like, them, you know?
Yeah, more than they were before, because Dewey was making them angrier.
Yeah.
And so see, they're in the locker room, and Scrooge is laying flat on a bench with an ice pack on his back.
And, like, Webby's attending to him.
Yeah. And we see Dewey's got, like, a robe from somewhere that he's wearing right now, hiding something. And he's, and Scrooge is saying, okay, like, one of you is going to have to take my place. He's like, Huey doesn't understand wrestling at all. We don't know where Louie is.
Which, Webby says that Louie's probably scared and, like, devastated from seeing Scrooge get hurt, so he's probably, like, somewhere else. And we get, like, this cut scene to, Louie selling Scrooge get hits with a chair t-shirts, which, by the way, you guys can't see it, but I'm wearing one of those t-shirts.
Yep. I still have to buy one.
Yeah, I got it at the Disney Deletes TeePublic page.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It's funny. And he's very much, like, selling. He's selling. Like, people are buying
he has
from
a
him.
stand. He has, like, Louis ink on, like, the banner. He got a t-shirt cannon from somewhere.
Yeah, who knows? Oh, describe the shirt. It's just, like, a little cartoon image of Scrooge getting hit with a chair on the head.
Yes.
And it's, like, money coming out.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
And we go back to Scrooge, and he's like, well, I guess Webby's gonna have to go alone. While Dewey is, he's going like, oh me, like, the entire time, and, like, putting himself in Scrooge's face, and Scrooge is very resolutely trying to ignore him.
Yeah. Because, I don't know if we mentioned it's going to be a tag team. So tag team against the next person. Scrooge basically tells Dewey that, like, he can't handle the heat.
Yeah. And he can't.
We know he can't.
No.
We know he can't.
He's the reason Scrooge suffered bodily harm.
And so Dewey says that he can. Well, that he can't, but his new persona, Champ Popular, can.
Yes, because he will get them to love him. And so he takes off the robe and unveils his new hero persona. Mm-hmm. He's wearing like the singlet.
Yes, like a blue singlet, yeah.
And a varsity jacket, is that what it's called? Sunglasses, and he got a haircut somewhere.
He got a fade.
Yeah, he's got a fade, which is fun.
He is very much inspired by, like, a 90s Attitude Era Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah.
Though The Rock was king of thriving on the heat and just roasting people, and Dewey could not handle.
Yeah. God, no. Because his whole thing is, like, is getting them to like him. He is more concerned with what people think of him than the literal fate of the world.
Yes.
We'll see. Like, and this gets worse. He is not at all, like, putting anything into perspective.
Mm-hmm. He just wants them to love him.
Yes, which you've seen him do before.
Yeah. His part of his gimmick is that he has a, like, lollipop, because he's Champ Popular. And apparently, there was an actual wrestler who had a very similar gimmick called the Candyman Brad Armstrong.
Woof.
I can't imagine it went well.
No. Probably as well as this.
Yeah, because we see that he's very determined to win them over.
Yeah.
And Scrooge is like, yeah, totally, I believe in you. Okay, Webby, please make sure he doesn't die.
Yeah, straight up.
You're right. I can't handle this. But Champ Popular can! My impossible-to-hate hero persona! Guaranteed to turn boo into woo! Dewey, we love you! Okay, you're still unsure, but wait till you see my special touch. Get it? Champ Popular? This will definitely win them over.
Yes, lad. Great. Oh, I believe in you. Do all the fighting and make sure he doesn't die.
On it!
He's relying entirely on Webby, which, as he should. Mm-hmm. Webby can actually fight, too.
Yeah.
Dewey or none of the other kids have any of that training.
Mm-hmm. Dewey just, like, cannot get into his head that, like, it's not, you can't force the crowd to do something, you know?
Yeah, you can't, like, just, If they don't like you, they don't like you. You're not going to force them to change their minds.
Yeah. Like, there have been times in, like, wrestling in which, like, the company, WWE, will push someone, like, so they'll try to get, like, a lot of matches, make them super popular, and they'll just be rejected. Like, the crowd would not go for it. Mm-hmm. And, like, it sucks.
Yeah.
Like, it, like, but I think that, like, a key to being successful is being able to play off that, because, like, worse than being booed is them not caring about you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know? Like, that's so much worse. If, like, no reaction, maybe, like, all the crowd goes to the bathroom during the matches. Like, people don't care, you know?
If everyone goes to buy a hot dog during your match, you're not good.
Mm-mm. We saw, like, Dewey kind of take a peek at the crowd, and he does that thing where he's like, yeah, like, you got it, smile, be charming, like, you're gonna win them over, and totally, like, save the world, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, whatever. It's a footnote, the fact that the world is potentially at stake.
So we have Huey, who's, like, both me, like, Anna and I, trying to learn these terms. And we have Launchpad, who's like, like, okay, if you got this then, like, just in time for the tag team round. And Huey, like, is like, oh crap, they're playing tag now? Poor Huey, he's not having fun.
No.
No one's having fun except maybe Webby.
Launchpad's having fun. He's having time of his life. And we see, I think Dewey slips Launchpad, like, his little, like, intro, how to introduce him. Mm-hmm. And it's all, it doesn't help.
No. Also, you know that Launchpad also is very forcibly reading this.
Yes.
Because he introduces Dewey as Valhalla's new favorite hero. Again, don't tell the crowd what to think.
Yeah.
The irresistible, dapper, impossibly cool, champ popular. And Dewey's theme is kind of like the Grease parody.
It's the from Nightmare on Komodo Hill.
Yes. Yeah. And the crowd immediately boos.
Yeah, oh my god. They're like, dude, we fucking know who you are.
Introducing Valhalla's new favorite hero, the irresistible, the simply dapper, the impossibly cool Champ Popular!
And he tries his gimmick of like throwing the lollipops and like don't throw food at people because it gets stuck in their hair and stuff. And they take his like pop, lollipop, whatever to mean that, to say that he's calling them suckers.
Yeah, there's one specific like audience member that she's like the most ruthless to him.
And I mean, yeah, that makes way more sense than whatever the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
He is, like, doing all the perfect heel stuff, like you said earlier.
Exactly.
It's like, dude, you're made to annoy people. Just go with it.
Honestly, like, this would be, like, the perfect, like, stable of McDuck Ducks, like, just terrible people.
Just absolute assholes.
Like, cause so we, as Dewey's getting shat on, we hear Louie selling "Stop the Pop" shirts.
Yeah, which is what everyone's chanting.
Yeah, and they're just like, I want to see the design. Did he show it?
We see the design a bit later, but and Dewey is like affronted by the fact that not only Louis is selling merch against him, but that he knew what his gimmick would be and planned merch that went against him ahead of time.
And I love Louis just casually being like, yeah, dude, I've known you, like, my whole life. Of course I knew what you were trying to do.
And you had to play out.
Yeah.
So Dewey climbs into the ring, and he's, just smiling and trying to get everyone to like him, and nobody likes him.
No. And Launchpad is being ruthless.
Yeah.
He's like Champ Popular, more like Champ Unpopular. Like, damn, like the crowd really fucking hates him. We have Huey trying to talk trash as well.
More like Champ Unpopular. This crowd is really giving it to it.
Yeah, more like Champ Population Zero. Friends, in Friendtown, someone called the Census Bureau. Oh! We hate you now!
Yeah, and then Webby climbs into the ring too. And she's just like living it. It's like, whatever.
Yeah.
And we see Scrooge calls them over to the side of the ring to talk strategy. Right as Hecka makes her entrance.
And I don't know which one of us is gonna say lore first.
I mean, I can say quick lore about who Hecka is based on.
Mm-hmm.
Hecka is based on Hel, the ruler of Hell. That's funny. Hell is like a particular part of Niflheim. So they in the episode they say she's the ruler of Niflheim, which is the larger realm. And Niflheim, or Hell, is where she receives a portion of the dead who die on Midgard, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get too much into her lore. Again, the character of Hel in Marvel Comics is named Hela. So this is kind of where they get the Hecka from. It is only Marvel Comics where she is Hela. Hela does not exist in actual Norse mythology.
As I learned today as well.
I'm like, oh, Marvel just made that up. That's fine. Okay. Oh, and Fenrir, who I mentioned earlier, is one of Jörmungandr's siblings, who is meant to also have a big part in Ragnarok. Mm-hmm. And though I'm not sure of the circumstances here, since he's with Hecka.
Yeah.
But whatever. Fun, purple wolf.
Yeah.
Who also has wrist and knee pads.
Yeah.
Safety first.
Yeah. So, in the world of wrestling, she is a reference to The Undertaker. Holds like the most nostalgia and just kind of showcases to me like the power of wrestling and the narrative of it.
And now from Niflheim, weighing in at a combined 10,000 shrieking undead souls, Hecka and Fenrir.
Oh, come on! This is what you like? A creepy goth and her pet dog?
We see here that when she comes out, like smoke appears and like everything turns green, and like she's this raven, or like half of her face is like a skull, very tall. She does not talk at all towards like any of her matches, and so The Undertaker, I don't know, like, how would you, like, from the little clip you saw, what would you describe The Undertaker as?
I guess The Undertaker he was The Undertaker for, 20-something years?
Over 30 years.
Whoa, what the fuck? It's a long time. So, he was a wrestler whose gimmick was that he was a dead man.
Yes.
Like, it was a gimmick that was largely inspired by Mike Myers. Mm-hmm. So this... a creature unable to feel... So, leaning into, like, the more supernatural gimmicks of, like, the 80s, 90s. But his was sustained. His, unlike, I think, a lot that died out immediately. His lasted for fuck ever.
Yes.
And he's, like, this creature who's, like, in the realm of the gimmick. Doesn't feel pain, doesn't show emotion... and is, like, this, like, unstoppable force. And it totally works, because this guy is, like... 6 foot, I think 11, they said.
He's very tall.
Something wild. And he's 300 pounds, massive guy. Mm-hmm. And it totally works. Like, you'll see, like, I think my favorite look of, because he has, like, various iterations, because he's doing it for 30 years. My favorite look is the hat and the giant black trench coat.
Yes. So that's how I knew him. So... I guess, like, part of the vibe, like you said, he was this, like, dead man, and you would think that, like, supernatural, like, gimmicks don't work, but he, like, my brother, like, a quote from my brother directly, like, if a wrestler can sell, like, a storyline, like, no matter how freaking ridiculous it is, fans will like it, you know, like, no matter what, like, part of The Undertaker's storyline is that he is this, like, either, like this, like, soul searching for revenge or, like, a warlock kind of guy. He became, like, a bike rider at one point.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that.
There was a motorcycle involved.
We would watch wrestling at night. It airs usually at 8. And I think at this point he had taken a break from wrestling. And all of a sudden we start getting these, like, I don't know, like, how to describe it. Like, you're watching, like, a thing, and all of a sudden there's, like, static on the TV, like, old-fashioned TV static.
Oh.
And then, like, black, and then images of, like, graveyards and fog and smoke and this man in this hat. And then, like, it would cut off, like, nothing happened. And so that was the build-up to The Undertaker.
Oh, wow.
And in, like, the ring, he has this very, like, dramatic, like, bell go, like church bells ring.
Yeah.
And it would turn pitch black. And I remember, like, my favorite moments were, like, matches would be happening or people would be talking shit about The Undertaker. And then, bam, stadium goes black. Bam, the lights turn on. He's standing there behind you.
Yeah.
And, like, his, like, finisher move is called the tombstone. Like, the tombstone, it's technically a tombstone pile driver. People call it the tombstone. It's this move where he, like, he's standing up, tall man. He grabs the wrestler, like, upside down, and he just, like, falls to his knees.
Oh, wow.
I say that, like, it doesn't do a lot of damage. It's more for show, but it could be damaging if, like, you do it wrong and you don't place your head correctly.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, that's, like, all kinds of neck and spinal injuries. And
exactly.
Head injuries.
I vividly remember my dad hating that move. Also, I may have tried it once as a child.
That's the move?
No, that's not the move. That's another move.
Christ.
But, we see later, like, that Hecka does this, like, sit-up. Where, like, he would lie. And he was like, oh, he's done. And then it's like, he sits up, no expression. You know? So I got really excited when I saw him, like, or, you know, Hecka, like, a variation of him. Because this character, to me, is one of those, like, inspirations of wrestling and just kind of like generations of people know who he is or hear about him and stuff like that, you know?
I think a reason why I think this episode stands out to me, a lot of the details that they put into this make it feel, for me, a lot more genuine than any other time I've seen wrestling where it's referenced in media, like any other cartoon that's referenced it, any like the rare movie I've seen with wrestling in it. I don't know. It just felt like the references weren't forced. The references were pulled, I think, from a place of this love and this, like, admiration. And so I think, and for me, I know for me, like, having no knowledge of wrestling, it made the portrayal of wrestling here feel way more genuine than anything I've really seen before. Mm-hmm. Like, it felt, obviously it's not a perfect depiction, but it felt more genuine, like, to what wrestling is, and, like, definitely any other cartoon representation that I've seen. Everything else, it's like, oh, they in the ring, oh, they throw themselves at each other.
Or it's like kind of like oh, look how silly wrestling is.
Yeah,
kind of thing, you know. Yeah, like you literally almost made me cry right now. Like these references to me feel like not just like a salute to the wrestlers, but like little like salutes to the fans. You know?
No, there's a lot of like I said love, like a lot of thought and put into the details they choose, like the chants that the audience does.
Yeah.
These specific traits they pull from either well-known wrestlers or ones who aren't as well-known, like with Strong Beard pulling from a variety of like, and also from pulling just from like that like era itself.
Yeah.
Versus Hecka, who very much pulls from The Undertaker. Yeah, so I think it's just very fun.
Yeah.
I think also helps is like using the terms like heel and babyface, like actual relevant terms that I'd never heard before.
Yeah.
So used to actually using those terms, I think brings like a level of like realness.
Yeah, because I think, unless I'm misremembering, like the crew has mentioned that they go watch wrestling shows together.
Yeah, I think they went to a lot of live wrestling matches in the area.
Yeah. And I think that to me that like that's so great, you know, like also like Tanner Johnson being into wrestling as well is like important to this as well. It's like you kind of know what's important to fans. Like that setup to me, I like got so excited because it's like the thing, you know, like The Undertaker, you know, my childhood, so many other childhoods, you know, and it's like I guess to me part of it also is like getting the opportunity to talk about it to people.
Yeah.
You know, maybe like a parent will get to tell their kids like, oh, you know, like that DuckTales show you watch has a reference to like a wrestler that I liked as a child, you know? Mm-hmm. That to me, like that's really powerful. And now let's move on before I start crying.
Yeah, so we have Hecka descends into the ring, like we said, in like a burst of flame, and like I think Launchpad says like lost souls and shit.
Yeah.
So it's very, very spooky, very fun. And Dewey, for some reason, is first to go, like, in the tag team.
Yeah.
Facing off against Heka. And he just, like, throws himself at her very confidently. And she grabs him by the face. and just throws him into the ropes where he gets very quickly tangled and then thrown out.
Yeah. And we see him, like, stumbling, and Huey's trying very hard.
Yeah.
He starts making popcorn.
Oh, yeah, he, like, descends. He, like, goes down a rabbit hole of, like, his own anxiety. And Launchpad is just, like, wincing next to him until he turns and, like, actually covers the mic. And he's like, you know that his thing is, lollipops, right? Not corn.
And Huey, like, he's like, but I have all of these corn puns. And Launchpad, like, tells him, like, you don't have to make it sound great. Like, it already is. And honestly, that's, like, a thing I took to heart in preparation for this thing. I was like, you know what? Like, the people who want to be convinced that wrestling is cool will be open to that. And the ones who don't care will probably skip this episode. So, yeah.
But, and so we see here, Heka is literally just holding Dewey back with a hand on his head, and he's just swinging, kind of, pointlessly. Then she lets him go, grabs him by the back of the jacket, and throws him to the ground. And something else I really liked about this is that with most cartoons, like, because these are, I guess you would say, technically fight scenes, you normally don't see punches or blows connect. Yeah. And you feel a lot of times the weight of this kid has been thrown to the ground. And I think and we've seen this before. Sometimes they do the like cut to black really quick when there's a punch. Though,
especially if there's like I think in the future chair shots.
Yes.
There's like cuts.
Yeah. When it's a little too violent, they're like, all right, we'll do a quick little cut. But typically, I know with Beakley, her chair shot does get the quick cut to black. Typically, I know her fights in earlier episodes don't get cuts. Yeah. That's why they feel so much more brutal and have so much more weight to them. Because they don't cut, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And so she throws Dewey to the ground, and then she's down what the hell she's doing here. She starts levitating.
Yeah. So she levitates.
Eyes are glowing.
An elbow, like, power slam on him.
And to, like, kill him. For sure. Yeah. So he has to, like, dive out of the way. And because it's like a magical, like, blow. And so we see that the magic and, like, the force of her landing spreads out over the mat. And just, what is it called? Is it the mat?
Yeah, the mat.
Nice. Point to
or
me.
The canvas.
Whatever. I said it right the first time.
Yeah.
Basically throws Dewey to almost to the ropes to like where Webby is.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, like in dodging the move, Dewey's getting booed.
Yeah.
And at this point, he's in the corner. He's like in his corner, so Scrooge and Webby are there. Webby's waiting for him to tag. I don't know why she's not on the canvas, but whatever.
Oh, whatever.
Scrooge is telling Dewey, like, you really need to, like, stop letting them get to you.
Yeah.
Like, you need to embrace the booze. Like, you have to be the bad guy.
Yeah. But then Heka does the creepy-ass Undertaker sit-up, and I love, like, there's, like, bone-cracking noises as she sits up, and it's, terrifying. And so he's like, never mind, tag Webby in instead, actually. Quickly.
Quickly. And I love Webby. She very much, embraces, like, not only, like, she's powerful, like, she's got the moves, but she's talking shit.
Oh, yeah, she fully embraces the heel, like, throws herself at Heka, like, bouncing, like, using the ropes to, like, propel herself forward.
Yeah, and she knocks Heka out for, like, a bit. She goes to, like, showboat on the turnbuckle, like, kind of like, people are booing her, obviously.
Yeah, but she's embracing the booze, though.
Yeah.
She's, and we see Scrooge congratulating her for embracing the heel.
Mm-hmm. And Dewey is very much like...
Oh my god.
He literally says, I don't know her.
Yeah. Webby pins Heka.
Yes.
And, I mean, she almost gets...
She does a... I always mispronounce this. She does a Hurricanrana, which is this really rad move in which you kind of, like, grab them with your, like, you grab the top of their body with your legs and then you swing your own body to propel them. And that move was made famous by Luchador El Huracán Ramirez. It's one of my favorite moves to watch actually happen, because it's just like, I don't know, fast-paced, just like using your own body to like propel them forward and slam. She slams her hard.
Oh yeah, no yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this lets her pin Heka, and she almost gets tagged out. No, wait, that's not the word.
She almost gets the pin.
Yes, but she gets tackled by Fenrir.
Mm-hmm. Dewey starts like saying like, oh, like that should be illegal, like cheater, but that's like a completely legal move.
Yeah,
like in
I think Dewey doesn't know what wrestling is.
Yeah. I like the part of the drama is that like waiting to see if the other tag team is gonna like help their tag teammate get out of this thing. So that's fine.
Because Webby gets she gets tackled by Fenrir, but then distracted by this very, very cute wolf.
Yeah.
But he only uses that to grab her and like spin her around.
And like it's funny because like Dewey's like encouraging it because she's like, oh, like like people love the dog lover angle.
Yeah.
And Scrooge immediately like knows what's up.
He's like, no shit, no. Because Fenrir spins her and then throws her into a table, which she breaks. Yeah. She's fine though, because Webby's indestructible.
Yeah. And Launchpad comments that this was a classic "Who's a Good Boy" gambit.
Which is fun. And then Dewey somehow, convinced he can win them over, not the round.
Yes.
When the audience over, he climbs back into the ring with the goal of feeding this ancient god wolf candy.
Yeah. And he literally gets yelled at by the audience.
Yeah, for animal cruelty.
That's it! I know what I have to do to win. Great! Them over! No! No one loves dogs more than Champ Popular! Who's a good boy? Does the good boy want a snacky boo? See, he likes it!
What are you doing? You can't give candy to a dog? What are you, a dummy?
Fenrir spits the lollipop out and is like advancing on Dewey. And Heka stands back up, so she's back in the game. Before Dewey can get like ripped to shreds or whatever, Webby, thankfully, comes back into the ring and tackles Fenrir. And in tackling Fenrir, she basically, I think, has him pinned. She also knocks Heka off her feet.
And so she tells, Dewey to get the pin.
Yeah.
And he, like, freezes because at that point, like, the heat is on him so bad.
Yeah.
That he can't handle it. And also we have Louis.
He fires a t-shirt at him with a t-shirt cannon. One of the Stop the Pop shirts. And here we see it in better detail.
It's just like Dewey's face, but in a lollipop and then crossed out.
Yeah.
I want that shirt too.
That's pretty good. And Dewey, he lets it get to him completely.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, go do your job.
Like, I think what really gets to him is that someone in the crowd yells, "You'll never be a hero" at him as well. Yeah, someone says that.
Low blow.
Yeah. And he's, like, literally begging with the crowd to not, like, do that to him.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad for him.
I do feel bad for him. Like, he is like a kid and then he's thrown into the situation. But at the same time, it's his fault. He's in the situation because he's not listening to what the much more experienced Scrooge is telling him. You have to not let it get to you.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, Scrooge is the heel, but he's being the heel. He's inhabiting this persona for a good reason.
Yeah.
This is the role he has here in this setting. In the eyes of the audience, he's the bad guy. But that doesn't mean he himself is bad.
Exactly. Like, I think one of, like, a great example that my brother gave me was that, like, you're not always gonna be the face.
Yeah.
Like, and so, like, I get that Dewey is also a child that had not experienced all of this. But he's also very much stubborn in the sense that, like, even though he's being a perfect heel, he doesn't want to be.
Yeah.
And we come back to this, like, belief that, like, heel is not bad.
Yeah.
You know, heel, like my brother says, like, it's like, he's, like, sort of like a vessel to get your passion out. Like, heels can, like, something about, like, babyface beating a heel is so, like, satisfying. It's, like, the storyline is so great in that sense. I don't know, just the power of a heel. I really respect heels. I wish that Dewey would have embraced it. Because in the end, he doesn't.
We'll get into that. But
yeah.
Dewey, distracted by his panicking over the crowd really hating him, gets tackled and pinned by Fenrir.
Yes. And he loses.
Yes.
But I will mention that this is a botch pin because Webby is the legal man in.
Yeah.
And there was never a tag.
Yeah, so, but whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah. So now they are Team Earth 1, Team Valhalla? Ragnarok, there we go. Right, End of the World 1. So they are tied with the final match deciding whether or not the world ends. Because Launchpad is saying, so we got, so Team Ragnarok gets the point, but not to worry, 'cause it's not the end of the world, folks. Right as it looks like it's Jörmungandr causing this. He's in the big doorway at the entrance. He causes everything to shake.
Yeah.
And we get this electric guitar as he's playing electric guitar.
Oh, Team Ragnarok gets the comeback win. Looks like they've got the momentum now. But don't worry, Team Earth. It's not the end of the world.
And we see that beneath the ring, cracks are forming in the ground as the Earth is literally trying to split apart.
Yeah.
Because Ragnarok is not just limited to Earth. Ragnarok is the end of everything. But no, Earth is the most relevant. But it is the end of everything. And it's a really good moment. I love the music in this episode. Who the fuck knows where the electric guitar is coming from? We're in like a Viking hall. Who cares?
And so we have Jörmungandr kind of like, he walks into the ring and he's like, oh, to the crowd, like, take it easy on this guy. Like, he says it's not his fault he's a mortal with a toxic personality. I don't know why. It just cracks me up.
It's so funny. He knows nothing about this kid.
Yeah.
But, like, just, like, I don't know if he can just, obviously he can tell that the being treated as the heel is affecting him. And he's just, like, kind of piling it on.
Yeah. And so he says, like, that, they're gonna get the main event. And, like, because Team Earth has been a little, like, lackluster, that they're gonna make it into a battle royale. And so Huey doesn't know what that is.
Yeah.
So Launchpad explains that Jörmungandr he's gonna take on everyone from Team Earth.
Yeah. And that if you're thrown outside of the ring, you're out.
Yeah. And, for the first to get a pin wins.
Yeah.
So, I guess this Battle Royale is a little bit closer to, like, the Japanese style than the American, because, like I said before, in the American, it's usually just, like, top of the rope, kind of last man standing kind of thing. I always love Battle Royale, Royal Rumbles, I guess you would call them, because in the beginning, you just see, like, if, like, someone that's, like, a powerhouse comes in, everyone will just try to get this, like, giant man out of the ring kind of thing. That's really funny.
Yeah, but everyone grab a leg, we'll just throw him.
It's real funny like that. And so Scrooge accepts the challenge.
Yeah, he climbs into the ring, and his, like, back is still killing him. And he goes, he shakes Jörmungandr's hand, and he goes to, like, face his family, Webby and Dewey, say, like, we're ready for whatever you've got. And then Dewey's gone. And he's like, hold on one quick second. And he has to go limp away to go look for Dewey. Mm-hmm. And he tells Webby to stall for time.
Yeah. And I love that, like, Webby, like, goes up to Jörmungandr and is, like, very, like, quietly, like, you know how she is. She's like, oh, excuse me, big fan. Like, and then she tells him, like, that she would like to fight, and she introduces him to her fist, Lady Haymaker, and her country cousin, the Duchess of Wailing.
Yes. And this is a fun reference to Wander Over Yonder.
And any of you well-behaved creeps get out of line, I got a couple of guests I'd like you to meet, too. The Lady Haymaker and the Duchess of Wailing.
Yeah.
Another show that Frank Angonis worked on, and that was canceled prematurely after its second season, and I know they had a lot more planned for their third season that they never got to do, which is a big bummer. If you have not watched Wander Over Yonder, what the fuck are you doing? Pause us right now and go watch Wander Over Yonder.
Goodbye, I know. I'm gonna go watch it.
It's a very, very fun show. We have Keith Ferguson as a evil lightning skeleton dictator, and Jack McBrayer as a little orange Muppet man. Very, very fun. A lot of really, really pretty show. A lot of fun alien designs. Definitely worth your time. Go watch it, for sure. Anyway, back in this. Scrooge follows Dewey into, like, the hall outside of the arena. And he's, like, sitting on the ground in the dark, like, panicking.
Yeah. Like, I feel really bad for Dewey, and he's apologizing to Scrooge because he can't do what's expected of him here. And Scrooge is like, yeah, like, it's fine. Like, I know that. I know you were not gonna hang.
But he is, he tells me it's okay that you can't do this. And Dewey is surprised. Like, oh, I thought you were going to give me some inspirational speech about how I can totally do it. Mm-hmm. And Scrooge is like, no, like, it's okay. Like, it's hard to do things that, even though it's the right thing, it's not the popular choice.
Yeah.
Obviously, in this circumstance, that's what it is. Mm-hmm. These people want the world to end, and he doesn't. And in this setting, he's made the bad guy.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of pressure, and he gets that Dewey can't handle that. I really did like this moment, because it's dark, and it's like it's a nice quiet moment.
Yeah.
But with how it ends, Scrooge has to go back out, and he tells him, like, it's fine, like, I called in backup, like, the minute you had to go out. Putting it into funny but very clear perspective that the world is literally at stake. Of course, I called backup when the kids were left, to handle it.
I'm sorry, Uncle Scrooge. I can't do it.
I know, lad, it's okay.
No, I can't. And wait, it's okay? Isn't this the part where you tell me, of course you can, lad, I believe in you?
Doing the right thing is not always easy or popular. Not everyone is cut out to be the champion of the earth.
But what about the fight?
I called in backup as soon as you had to take over. I mean, it is the fate of the earth.
Well, that made me feel even worse.
And of course, that doesn't make Dewey really feel any better, because Scrooge really didn't have faith in him.
Yeah.
To be fair, I mean, it was justified that he didn't have faith in him.
Yeah. But yeah, Dewey's kind of like, that is not what I wanted of the moment.
Yeah, he's feeling worse now.
So we cut back to Webby, who's finishing, like, telling him off.
And Jörmungandr has just been kind of watching her quietly, like, wow. And he goes and just picks her up. Mm-hmm. And just holding her up in one hand.
We warriors of Valhalla aren't scared of you.
It's not me who you should be scared of.
What a surprise, folks! The millionaire miser's Maid!
Shield, maiden! The only thing I'm going to clean today is your clock.
And then motherfucking Beakley coming in with the chair.
I just think of that moment in Shrek.
The chair! Give him the chair!
It cuts there, and I'm just like, I would have paid to see her fight.
Oh my god, yes, please. Christ. Love Beakley. I was so happy when they brought her in. I probably cheered when she showed up. Always happy to see Beakley.
Yeah.
And her look, this episode, is based on the DuckTales 1987 Maid of the Myth, Season 1, Episode 21, in which Beakley is abducted by real-life Vikings who believe she's a Valkyrie. And they take her to, like, they have this little Viking village that's been, like, kind of, like, lost to time. They're still Vikings, even though it's thousands of years later.
Yeah.
I watched about, I want to say, at least 5 minutes of this episode. Just to, like, get the basic premise. Because, I mean, she gets kidnapped in the first, like, minute and a half. And then they have to go and follow her to, like, this Viking island. And I didn't bother watching the rest.
What's important is her look. She looks very badass.
Yes. She looks, yeah, here she does. Not in the...
Oh, yeah.
Not in 1987.
So we go backstage. Both Huey and Dewey are not having a good time.
No.
We see that Dewey's like taking off his jacket, and he like tries to throw the lollipop, but it gets stuck to him, so he like flings it. It lands on Huey's head.
Shouldn't you be announcing the fight?
I can't do this. I thought I was smart enough to handle anything this adventure had to throw at me, but I'm just embarrassing myself.
Yeah, me too. I know we're supposed to take over for Scrooge one day, but do you ever wonder if maybe we're not cut out for it?
Yeah, I mean, we get this moment of, like, commiseration between Dewey and Huey because they've both been thrown out of their element.
Yeah.
And they're doing a really bad job.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's another quiet moment in this episode that I think is one of the I think the most important part of the episode, I think, is this moment.
Yeah.
Because we have them talking very frankly, Dewey and Huey, like, are they cut out to take over for Scrooge? Like, who are they in comparison to the legacy Scrooge already has? Like, how could they ever match up to it?
Yeah. The question doesn't really get answered, and I'm assuming it's going to be a theme throughout the season.
Yeah.
You know? Because, but yeah, it's very much like Dewey, kind of all people, asking the question, like, what if we're not good enough to take, Scrooge's mantle?
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's so interesting. I love that it looks like the show is going to explore that, because like you said, the question's not answered this episode. In the other substantial versions of, like, the DuckTales Duck universe, where the kids are involved, so say the comics and 1987, the kids obviously aren't really characters. They're like a single entity, and they're perfect and excellent at everything already. They have the Junior Witcher guidebook as the Deus Ex Machina, and they can accomplish anything with that. They often save the day. They're often, like, the experts on any multitude of subjects. They're not characters with flaws, obviously, in the comics and in 87, not substantial flaws. So there's no room to question, like, anything this deep, like the legacy that they're following in. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, they're the great nephews of the richest duck in the world, like this great adventurer who's one of his many responsibilities is to keep the world from ending every 10 years. And now they're here and they're fucking it up. It's really interesting to me that they are getting into this, like, very much this idea of legacy, and which the show has obviously explored before. It's like Della, Donald, things like that. But I think this is a really interesting question, and I appreciate the show getting into that with these characters that have for so long been so one note, and exploring something deeper than they have unique personalities, they already have their own flaws, but then getting into something deeper, something that's a little more, I don't know, not meta, but definitely something I wouldn't have expected a show, any really show, to get into. I think something as heavy as legacy.
I think especially like in this episode, like considering everything else.
Yes.
These are legacy characters.
Yeah.
You know, like there is like a certain rule you're meant to follow when you like do an adaptation with them. So like to like question that, to question like these kids standing in all of this.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
like,
because with that, the kids are always static. Before this, and every iteration before this, they've been static characters. They don't grow beyond what they are. And here they're constantly growing. They have constant character development, and so which means at some point they, in the world that they've created, they will grow up. They will have to really face Scrooge's legacy and what their role is in that. And that's really interesting for me that they're just starting, that they're broaching that subject in an episode like this. That's like, oh, wrestling, da, da, da. But I think it is a good episode for that, because this is part of Scrooge's legacy. For however long he's been the champion of Earth, like, this is something he has been doing for decades.
Yeah.
And now they're being thrown into this, and
I think it's also like kind of tie back in like that connection again of like the world of wrestling. Legacies are important within the world of wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, you have generations. Like, The Rock, he is a legacy. His father was a wrestler. His family wrestles nowadays. You know, Dewey's arc in this show kind of mirrors The Rock's, Dwayne Johnson's whole thing. Like, just because you're a legacy, like, legacy carries this thing of, like, you have to ensure that your whole thing isn't that you're just, like, related to this person.
Yeah.
You know, like, what do you bring to this table?
Yeah.
What are you doing to, like, add to your family's legacy? Or, like, you know, like, not letting it down.
Yeah.
And so I think in my case, like, I also find it interesting that, like, technically in this world, not only are, like, the kids in Scrooge's legacy in all sense of the world, because Scrooge is like this like famous explorer, but in this like tiny wrestling tradition, they're also legacies.
Yeah. So we have Louis interrupting their pity party because the ground starts shaking again, and it's cracking, and the earth is cracking open even more. And Louis bursts in like, "Hey, the world is literally ending. What are you guys doing here?"
Dewey and Huey are both very much still defeated. Yeah. Like, Dewey's like, I can't do it. Like, the crowd hates me. And Huey's like, I don't understand, like, wrestling. I don't understand what's going on. And Louie's like, what, like, just...
He's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. He's like, this is, like, a non-issue for him. Like, he tells Huey, like, you don't have to understand something to love it. Like, just... say the first thing that comes to mind. Like, you just have to be Launchpad.
Yeah.
You know, BLP. And he tells Dewey, like, again, like, I've known you, like, my whole life, you know? I know that in the end, you're gonna be the hero, you know? So just get out there and save the world.
I can't do it. They hate me.
And I don't understand wrestling. What? Just roll with it. You don't have to understand something to love it. Say literally the first thing that comes to mind. BLP. B Launchpad. And you. I've known you my whole life. I know how this plays out. You're a hero. So go save the world. Let's do this.
I don't know.
Let's Dewey this?
I'm in.
And I think it was also really brief. I did like Louis being the one to snap his brothers out of it.
Yeah.
Even though he's not involved in, like, whatever the drama's got going on, he's able to quickly come in and be like, because he knows them, like you said, he knows them so well. He knows what to say to get their minds, to get them back in the game, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was nice. And we go to Webby and Beakley kicking Jörmungandr's ass.
Hell yeah.
For a bit.
Webby does, like, all sorts of, like, kicks and flips. She's literally flipping this, like, 2-ton man. Like,
this is my favorite line. I'll throw it back out there. This humble, noble snake man of the people.
I love it. And we see Beakley does a stunner onto the ropes, which is like a move kind of, not the rope part, but it's popularized by Stone Cold Steve Austin. Kind of like this fun, like, elbow grip.
Yeah.
And that, like, knocks Jörmungandr for a bit, but he, like, Webby goes to jump off the turnbuckle.
Yeah, and he's faking it, because I think I'm not sure if he catches her, but with his tail, he throws her over the ring.
He, like, flicks her.
Yeah.
He, like, flicks her
over the ropes. And Beakley, with one hand on the ropes, goes to catch her, and then with his tail, he whacks her fingers hard enough that she lets go. So they're both out, she and Webby.
Mm-hmm. And so, at that point, Scrooge goes in, still, like, holding his back.
Oh, well, yeah, his back is out of commission. Surprise twist!
Woo!
Launchpad, he's announcing as he jumps into the ring. I don't know where he got this from, he wears it constantly, who knows. His own wrestler's outfit underneath his clothes.
Whoa! In a completely unexpected twist, the announcer was Captain Crash this whole time! What's Jörmungandr gonna do now?
He's also wearing a mask and a cape, and it's real fun.
It's cute. And I forgot, this is the other buff boy that the DuckTales artists really like drawing buff, and I appreciate them.
All the time. Shout out to the crew.
Shout out.
I love Launchpad, yeah. He's, like, still announcing. So he's like, what will Jörmungandr do now? And he easily, like, just, like, what does he do? He, like, grabs both of them.
Yeah. And then,
throws them to the ropes,
and then, like, throws them out. Like, he throws them out. They're out, like, in a second. And the ground, again, is splitting apart all around them. And so there's, like, flames. And Jörmungandr is just soaking in all the cheers.
Yeah.
Until he gets hit in the face with a t-shirt shot from a t-shirt cannon. A couple shirts, I think.
Yeah, it's a couple. And, Dewey makes an entrance. Again, his little entrance music. And he's like, I guess you guys forgot. Because technically, at this point, he was the winner. Jörmungandr was the winner.
Yeah.
But Dewey shows up.
I guess you forgot about the pop that never stops, no matter how hard it is.
Your catchphrase is your force!
That's just how I do it!
Wow! And in a stunning turn of events, Champ Popular is back to fight the snake that bit him!
The pop kind of thing is supposed to be a nod to The Rock, and The Rock had a similar journey in which he was very much not liked as a face.
Yeah.
He was Rocky Maivia, and then he embraced The Rock kind of status as, like, a heel. He's very good at trash talking and just being, like, hilarious.
What The Rock is cooking!
He's through singing and get ready for the fight!
And you see also Huey's also regained his confidence. He joins Launchpad at the announcer's table again. Launchpad has an ice pack on his head. He's still in costume. And you see here Huey takes over in announcing. And he goes all in. It's very nice.
Yeah.
And like we said, Dewey isn't letting the crowd get to him anymore. So he hops back in the ring. And Jörmungandr gets all in his face like, hey, the crowd fucking hates you. You should give up.
Yeah. And Dewey's like, you know what? I don't care. But he's like, but you do. He tells Jörmungandr.
They hate you. You should give up.
I don't care, but you do.
I don't care at all. Why should I? I'm the most popular hero in all the land and for all time!
And then he proceeds to just throw this kid around the ring, like smacking him into the ground, into the turnbuckle, point for me.
Yes.
Into the ropes. It's, just whacking this kid around. And they don't do cuts, so you really feel you really feel Dewey getting beat up.
Yeah, he like pile drives into him at one point.
Oh yeah, oh my god. I'm like, whoa.
It's intense. And so this is when the turn happens for both characters, for both personalities. So it's like it's very bad form to like be a bully. Yeah. And here Jörmungandr, in taking advantage of someone who he could technically already pin. Or
oh my god! Yeah, look at this little fucking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have picked him up, thrown him out, done, end of the world, baby.
Yeah. So like any moment in which you take it too far, you're a heel. Like you fucked up. So if you're a face and you do that, like how he does it, he's gone. And so in this case as well, Dewey becomes the underdog. Yeah. Because he's like this tiny kid who has no chance of winning.
And so the crowd is silent. They're watching this, and we see Strongbeard. And fuck her name, Heka, also are especially looking displeased. And the crowd starts booing Jörmungandr.
Yeah. And like, Huey's kind of saying like, oh, like Jörmungandr lost the crowd, and he did. Like,
and he gets real upset about it. He goes to the ring and he starts yelling at the crowd.
He'll move.
Yep. He gets a chair thrown at him.
Yeah.
Not as violently as Scrooge. But Strongbeard decides to actually do something. He looks at Heka and Fenrir, and they all agree to help Dewey. So he cuts off a piece of his beard. He like calls out to Dewey. Cuts off a piece of his beard. Now he's gonna have to cut off the other side for symmetry.
Yeah, I'm like, I hate that he cuts so much of it off.
This kid needs all he can get. He's an infant. Yeah, so he cuts off a big chunk and throws it to Dewey.
I don't know, like he puts it around his head so now it's his own beard.
I guess so he can so it'll like be attached to him without having to like use his hands or whatever to hold it. And so he gets all buffed out, and I hate that I paused it there, so I'm gonna keep playing. But so he's all buff.
He's absorbed that beard energy, as he says. I love that Launchpad is now just sitting very quietly trying to get over his concussion that he experienced.
He landed on his head, that's right. Yeah, Launchpad doesn't speak for the rest of this. He's like, I can taste colors right now, so I'm gonna just sit quietly for a bit. Jörmungandr goes to I want to do a killing blow on Dewey, I don't know.
Yeah.
But obviously with Dewey's newfound beard strength, he's able to catch the punch. And so now they're much more evenly matched.
Yeah, he throws Jörmungandr up and then catches him, and then when he catches him, he leaps out of the building into the sky.
Yeah, and he catches him at a certain point right low on his back, so he has to he bends over. It looks very painful.
Yeah.
And then he leaps up 100 feet into the air.
And he performs the world's most epic pile driver on him.
The mile-long pile drive.
Yes. And it's incredible. Even the ref cleans his glasses he can't believe it.
Yeah, he's like, wowza. Alrighty. And so he pinned him.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And so Jörmungandr he loses, obviously, and he reverts back to lightning and goes back to the sky.
Yes.
Yeah, so he goes back to his giant monster form.
Mm-hmm. Can you see, like, the cracks start to, like, revert?
Yeah,
so Earth is okay for another 10 years.
Yes, the world isn't ending today. And so the ref gets the belt, and it's fun. It has, like, the Earth on it. You see Scrooge climbs up into the ring, and he gets real close to Dewey, and he's, like, congratulating him, but, like, whispering.
Yeah.
And Dewey's like, thanks, but why are you whispering? So I could get close to do this. And he snatches the belt away.
I love it. Huey's like the millionaire miser, like, has turned on his own nephew.
Yes.
Like, what a heel. He stole the belt. And we see, like, Scrooge, like, parading with the belt and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, oh my god, like that happens. Like, if you steal a belt, it's, like, the most, I guess, easy way to, like, challenge for the championship, but it's also, like, a very, like, kind of, like, heel disrespectful move.
Yeah.
Like, you're kind of, like, trying to cheat your way up the ladder in a sense. And so we see that, like, I guess, like, the muscle energy, hair energy, whatever, wears off.
No, Dewey pulls the beard off.
Oh, okay.
The beard energy don't go nowhere. He has to pull that off.
And we have a match that we don't get to see between the millionaire miser and Champ Popular.
Yeah. And it's cute, because it's, I don't know, just cute.
Yeah, it ends like Rocky 3, I think is the reference. Kind of like...
Fuck if I know.
A private match between
Yeah.
two people that know each other. And then there's like a 80s ballad
Yes,
happening at the end.
It's great. Dominic Lewis again singing.
Yeah. Any thoughts? Any finishing thoughts about the episode before we go to questions?
I think, because obviously we see Dewey, he becomes the hero at the end, that the crowds, the audience starts supporting him. And I think I would have liked more of him, I mean, because the only way for him to get back out here is that he does embrace, like, the hate, and he does embrace the heel, but in the end, he doesn't have to, like... Yeah. And I get, it's a kid's cartoon, so the kid has to, so the main character is the good guy at the end.
Yeah.
But, and it would have been cool to see if he had leaned fully into being heel, like, on purpose.
Yeah.
I think, we'll get to questions. Should we do Twitter or Tumblr first? I have Twitter pulled up.
If you want, we could do the Twitter ones first, then.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
From Quadrell, this episode introduces the issue of the kids' legacies and how that means taking on some of Scrooge's many hefty responsibilities. What do you think this will look like for Huey, Louie, and Webby? Fuck Dewey, I guess. I'm sure they meant to include Dewey.
Yeah.
Probably. But I mean... I am interested in see how they'll go into that going forward, because this episode was very much focused on Dewey taking up Scrooge's legacy.
Yeah.
Because Dewey is the more, I don't know, hands-on like this.
Yeah.
But I mean, even like Webby, obviously Webby being a part of this group now, of Scrooge's legacy, Huey and Louie. I am looking forward to seeing what that looks like, if they'll focus on the kids' specialties.
I feel like part of, like, my, I guess, maybe difficulty in exploring this subject is, like, I guess to me, picking up a legacy involves someone departing. And I cannot see Scrooge departing.
Oh, no, Scrooge is never going to die.
Yeah.
But I think...
So
I think it's more for me, like, the fact that they have to grow up in the shadow of him.
Yeah.
Like, still being alive, obviously. They need, just, like, the fact that they're growing up in his shadow, that this guy who's done it all, seen it all, and is still doing it, like, what can they do to match or surpass him? What can they do, or to not fuck up what he's already done? Like Dewey kind of almost did here.
Mm-hmm. I think that's like what makes it interesting. I guess I just need to think about it more. Like the fact that like it's gonna be like a parallel with him as well.
Yeah.
Like, I like that these are not like ageless children stuck in like a void. You know, that we're like actually asking these questions.
The fact that the kids will grow and are constantly growing is, I think, I love that that's a big part of the story.
Yeah.
Let's see, from Stitch Fan 08. If the kids are getting his business in the will, it was about Scrooge. If the kids are getting his business in the will, what do you think Donald and Della will get? Plus, I love the... Wait, sorry, there's a bit more. Plus, I love the funny line from Game Night where Donald was told if he lost, he was out of the will, and his reaction that, you know, I was in the will. I think Frank Angonis confirmed that Scrooge doesn't have a will, actually, because he's never planning on dying.
Yeah.
Which, it's a bad way of doing business, dude.
Yeah, you never know when you might want to get fake die again. You need to leave a will.
Yeah, I need to leave a will. What if you get poisoned or you choke on a chicken bone?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, I already forgot the question.
If well, it's all hinging on whether or not Scrooge has a will.
Oh, I don't think he does.
He doesn't.
No.
Maybe,
but like also like he'll support them. Like maybe he won't give like Donald and Della like a piece of a business.
Maybe he has life insurance. No, but that still hinges on whether or not he dies.
Yeah,
and he's never gonna die.
Complicated.
He's never gonna die. Who knows?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Who knows what's up with him? He is not very good at foresight or planning.
No plans to die ever.
No, he doesn't prepare for the worst. From Turtle Duck Dog 1, discuss Launchpad landing the plane. Because he lands the plane when they get to Valhalla.
I mean, I'm proud of him. I don't know what to say.
No, I was a bit surprised. I'm like, oh, he just lands. Alright. I don't know if we just don't have time for a fun crash, or...
I guess. Yeah.
Maybe he is learning.
It's paying off. Those flying lessons are paying off.
Finally.
Oh my god.
Let's see. From Aaron Tarpey, what did you guys think was the best, most fun matchup this episode?
Ooh. It was Hecka for me. Hecka.
I did really like Hecka. I really like Jörmungandr. I just like the character. Like the voice is really cool, and like all like the energy with him.
I guess I would have liked it more if we had seen more of Webby and Beakley.
Yeah.
Really doing their stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, we had to have a moment in the locker room.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And there's also there is an additional part to the question, but I'm not sure what else there is to add. So also, Faby, if you don't mind sharing, what is your hottest wrestling take?
Oh, my hottest wrestling take is probably related to the fact that, like, let people have fun matches. Again, I think I already mentioned this, but, like, there's some people that, like, will see something that's, like, kind of, like, ridiculous and be like, wrestling is a circus now. And I'm like, I don't know, like, what you thought wrestling was. But
wrestling originated in the circus.
Exactly.
Read a book.
It's not just, like, it is a high-skill performance sport, but it's not, like, classy.
Yeah.
You know? And it, to me, like, just, I don't know, let people have fun. Let the new generation of fans enjoy their thing. I guess this is also, like, my hesitation to talk to anyone that isn't my brother about wrestling is, like, people will just give bad opinions.
Yeah, no, yeah, it has to do, I think, with just the, like, not a general consensus, but, like, this idea that wrestling is, like, a lowbrow
sport
or entertainment. entertainment, I think, is better.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just like, you know, sometimes you just gotta have a stadium stampede in which someone uses a fucking horse to chase someone.
It's rad.
Sometimes.
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 As a treat.
As a treat, you gotta like do a whole like bar fight within your match.
Yes.
Like, yeah, there are technical matches. There are like just kind of like technique stuff. It's not for me. Let people enjoy things, goddammit. And you know, like, people, it's not like the old days which like men wearing like that like singlet and it's just like college, I guess, like high school wrestling. You know? Go watch that if that's the thing you want to watch. Let me watch someone throw mimosas on the other person.
Yes.
And that's fine.
Yes.
So from Alex K9, who asked, how did we like this episode?
That's it?
Yeah.
I liked it alright. Not my favorite of the season.
Yeah.
We talked about, like, obviously, we love the like, attention to detail and the wrestling references.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think that's a big bulk of the reason why it's fun to watch, but no, good episode, but not not one of my favorites.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think it's forever gonna hold a special place in my heart just for the fact that it, like, re-catapulted me into this world of wrestling. But, like, at the end of the day, I remember watching this episode for the first time, and when they were in the locker room talking, I was like, hurry up, I want to get back to the wrestling. You know, it's like, but, like, that is a good, like, little moment, that unanswered question.
Yeah.
You know? So, it's a good stepping stone episode, I would say.
Yeah.
You know. Anonymous. Want to name him?
Wait. Strongbeard.
Strongbeard, who says, I'm glad to see Beakley participating on more adventures this season. You know, considering the first time she tried to join Scrooge and the kids for one adventure, it ended really badly for everyone.
I think it's referencing Last Crash.
Yeah. Oh, damn, I can't watch that episode a lot.
Oh, yeah, it takes a lot out of me.
But yeah, I mean, she's gonna have a whole thing this season, so.
Yes, very, very, very excited for more Beakley. Always really great to see her and stuff, because, I don't know, her character always brings this additional weight. I don't know how to describe it. Like, she's, like, the voice acting for her is always really good, and really, always really sharp, in a way that I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, I don't know, we haven't gotten enough of her, really. Like, there's just been, like, bits and pieces and stuff that you're like, damn, Beakley, like, I know that there's a hidden depth inside, and we're gonna get it this season.
Yes.
I'm very, very excited. Another anonymous. Hecka, who asked, what are you looking forward to the most in the next batch of episodes, aside from Let's Get Dangerous?
Damn, that's the whole thing. I am...
Today we got, like, a summary for an episode, a synopsis.
The Trickening, the Halloween episode.
Yeah. And what was the specific phrasing that I sent you screaming about?
That Launchpad will face ghosts of the past.
Yes. What the hell does that mean?
I'm really curious to see if it'll be Launchpad character development or just fun jokes.
Yeah, will it be... Please don't terraform me and me again. I swear to God.
Our least favorite episode, I think. But it is only slightly... It is redeemed by the Lena subplot.
Yeah. But I fast forward to the rest of it. Well, I'm
extremely, very much looking forward to the hour-long Darkwing Duck episode.
I know.
We're going to get Goslin. But besides that, I am really looking forward to seeing Giancarlo Esposito as Phantom Blot. Obviously, I was wrong about Doug Jones. Very sad. We'll probably get Doug Jones in the Halloween episode, just process of elimination, monster episode.
Yes.
Alright?
Yes.
But Giancarlo Esposito, I have only seen him in The Mandalorian. I know he's in The Breaking Bad and something else. He's in stuff. But I really liked him a lot in The Mandalorian. Now, picturing that voice coming from Phantom Blot is really interesting to me. Yeah, so I'm really excited to see what the character is like, because I know very little about Phantom Blot beyond the bare bones of what the character has been like in comics before. And it seems he's more of a supernatural thing now.
Yeah.
Than like a dude in a Halloween mask.
Mm-hmm.
So, really excited to see where they take the character, especially with Mr. Esposito voicing him.
Because he's such, like, at least in The Mandalorian, he's so, like collected. He's, like, a cool villain.
The character carries this very casual menace.
Yeah.
That's really fun to watch.
Just as you betrayed our business arrangement, I would gladly break any promise and watch you die in my hand.
So I'm excited I'm just excited for new episodes.
Yeah, no God. I'm trying to think of what other episodes we're getting. We're looking forward to what new characters and stuff we'll be getting, what new plot points.
Yeah. But number one is Goslin.
Yes, God, of course.
But yeah. I think that's it for us.
Oh, alrighty. Before we forget, we have our new podcast coming out very soon.
What?
Yes. Super, super excited. Oh my God, we've had this in the works for a while. So it is Amores Patos Face, the Disney Afternoon. It is a podcast. We'll be reviewing the first episode, or the premiere, I should say, of every single show within the Disney Afternoon. So that's starting from Gummy Bears, the show that started the Disney Afternoon, all the way to, I want to say, Gargoyles, or Mighty Ducks is the last within this Disney Afternoon time frame. Gummy Bears, DuckTales, Tailspin, Rescue Rangers, trying to see how many I can remember, Bonkers, said Gargoyles already, all of those dudes. We're going to review the premiere episode, so that can be, so it's either one episode, or it can be 4 or 5, like DuckTales and Gargoyles. Had multi-part premieres. And then after we get through the premieres of each of those shows, we'll be leaving it up to you, the listeners, to suggest and then vote on what episodes we'll be reviewing. So we're very fun to get into these very formative shows that are very formative for a lot of us, and shows that are very new. Like I know, like I've watched a half of an episode of Bonkers, so it's just shows that are completely new to us. I'm very excited also to get into to appreciate and belittle.
Oh, of course. there will be roasting of these things.
Yes, very excited.
Same.
So definitely follow us on Twitter. Follow us at Amores Patos 2 for updates on our new podcast.
Yes.
And follow us on our current Twitter, Amores Patos.
You can follow us on Tumblr at amorespatospodcast.tumblr.com.
You can send us email type things at our email at amorespatospodcast@gmail.com. Thank Michael at Spintrick for our lovely cover art. And I believe that is all for us.
Yes, thank you for y'all if you listen to me just ramble about wrestling. I am happy that I got to share some stuff with y'all.
Very happy to listen and learn. I know things now.
Hey, now you can show off to people.
Yes, my innate wrestling knowledge.
Okay.
I know the names for things in the ring.
Hell yeah.
Alright, saludos amigos.
Saludos amigos.